And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK show, and this is going to be episode 260. So I hope you guys had a great day, and I hope you guys have a great weekend that is ahead of you. And in this episode of the MSK show, just in a little bit after we have our usual guy bro conversations that you guys all know and love, we are going to be going over two topics tonight. We're going to be covering a ComicsGate project that fails to deliver as backers get screwed. Then we have an update on Spider-Man the Animated Series. Yes, we actually have an update on what's going to happen with Spider-Man the Animated Series after that legendary cliffhanger that the show ended off with way back in the day after the big reveal happened in, I think, season 4, when Madam Web entered the story and it was revealed that Mary Jane was still alive technically, but she's in limbo and all that other stuff. It's crazy because that show right there always kind of lives rent-free in my head a little bit, because whenever I watch like TV shows, because like back in the day when the show would just like end, I didn't know if it got canceled. And then when I got older, this was back in the day before like the internet became like big. This is because I didn't really have a smartphone at the time, or I didn't have access to a computer, right? We would have these like TV guide magazines, and we just flipped through them, to see like ratings of shows on all of our favorite networks, because we were really, really big in watching TV shows, like new episodes dropping. We'd watch them as a family, or like my brother would download them. This is before we've had access to money and streaming services. So we watched them. We were like all into watching TV. And then whenever I would find out that one of the shows I was currently watching would be canceled, I'm like, damn, like, fuck, it's going to end up on a cliffhanger that's never going to get resolved. And it's hard, like, investing in TV. And I think that's the reason why, like, TV shows have just, the ratings drop over many, many years. Like, people just don't like investing that much years and time into something to see it end off on a bad note. Then TV has this issue of like, it's easy to start, it's hard to finish. That middle part can be very good, but it's like people need to actually count on one hand how many TV shows have actually ended off good.
Yeah. Well, endings are very difficult to stick in writing, so there's a lot, especially if it's an ongoing and they never really planned an ending. Some shows have a beginning, middle, and end, and they're only set for only so many seasons. But some shows go on and on and on, and then they have to figure out an ending. Sometimes in a matter of like one season, like, oh shit, this is our last season. We gotta wrap up all these story points and try to get everything all set up. So yeah, sticking that landing can be really, really hard. So that's why sometimes I don't even start TV shows until like the first season is done. Like I didn't start Game of Thrones until the last season started airing on HBO.
Like for me, when The Walking Dead, I binged The Walking Dead all the way up until season 3 ended. So when season 3 had ended, that's when I had ended with it. And then I was watching it, week to week. And it's one of these things where TV shows have all kinds of weird things to happen. Like, I also want to tell you guys nothing about TV. You know how you're watching your favorite show, and then they'll replace like the main character, or something will happen behind the scenes that we don't know about at the time until years later on. No TV show I've ever watched that's replaced the main character is as good. It just doesn't work in TV. A famous example is the Walden 2.5 Men situation with Ashton Kutcher. Like, it was crazy about that one is they could have made that work. There was a way Walden could have actually worked in the show, and they just didn't pull it off. Like when Nina Dobrev left the Vampire Diaries. You had when Michael Rosenbaum left Smallville, like that period. Like after season 7, between season 8, 10, he's just not there. There's like every TV show imaginable. Just remember, keep in mind, how many of them have actually ended off good guy winning, happy ending, blah, 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 the usual good guy gets the girl and everything. And how many of them have actually been successful after they replaced the main character with someone else, And you're right, T. Matt Lord. 2.5 Men was Charlie Sheen. And 2.5 Men was the show that really allowed Charlie Sheen to be basically who he is,
Yeah.
And then, because the thing with Walden is the fact that they basically made Walden like Charlie but they didn't actually give him any more depth after that. Like, it felt like he did all of his growing in like the first like 10 episodes of season 9. I personally think some of the best episodes that show us did is in like within like season 9. The episodes where Alan had a mental breakdown after losing Charlie. Those 2 episodes right there are some of the best episodes they've ever did.
Yeah.
Because no one ever watched. Well, that season had a lot of ratings because people want to see what was the aftermath of Charlie Sheen leaving. But like so many TV shows change the character out and you just go like, fuck, this doesn't feel the same. The only show that I think it didn't really hurt as much was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when they swapped out the Aunt Vivians because one was
yeah.
Oh crap! I was kind of wondering, like, wait, why is there a darker and why is there a lighter one? No, this is a kid, obviously.
The only TV show that I've watched where it worked was the Spartacus one that was on Stars. It's one of my favorites, and it's the only time where the lead actor had to be changed out because his cancer acted back up. So they filmed a prequel season that he wasn't in on the second season, and then they went back to where it left off in the third season, and they changed out actors, and then he passed away sadly before they finished filming the third season. And then that one also had a really, really good ending. So it can happen, but that's the only one. Well, there are a couple.
Well, like CSI, remember the CSI show that started it all, the one that had Lawrence Fishburne. I'll be honest with you guys, after they swapped out Lawrence Fishburne with, I forgot the other white guy. He wasn't bad. He was fine. But he wasn't Lawrence Fishburne though. Like what? Because TV shows are such an investment that when you get attached to that one character, even if they're not the best character, you want to go through that. Like, okay, maybe they're gonna go down this bad rabbit hole or this good rabbit hole or whatever. You're trying to see them in the train crash when it gets to that point where it just completely just explodes. And then when you swap a character out, you're just like, I don't know if I like this guy as much. And it's not. And I always usually give the person enough episodes in time. But if they don't grow on me, I just maybe when I was a kid, it was Blue's Clues. You had Steve, and then you had I didn't really like Joe. I kind of just didn't like it after Joe. It's like I don't know, it just doesn't feel the same. You never forget your first. These are like I remember first.
When Michael left the office, I was just like, oh well, it never worked really much after he left. And there's a couple times where they switched out actors like that in shows, and it just even Criminal Minds.
If an actor dies, I understand. You can't predict for that. That's understandable, and that's unfortunate too. Like good shows end up getting ruined when someone dies, but I can't fault producers for that. You can't. That's not their fault. That's just natural occurrence of life. But if it happened where they're talking to the showrunners and the writers and people like, I don't like the direction of the show, and then they get fired for just kind of sticking up for their job, it's like, okay, well, you kind of fucking deserve to get canceled. Fuck you. You should be listening to your should be listening to your writers. Or sorry, you should be listening to your actors.
How dare you?
Are you talking about the one with Steve Carell? You're talking about the one with Steve Carell, right?
Yeah, he's talking about the Steve Carell one.
So I'll say this: I've never watched this show, not in full. I've just watched random episodes here and there. I've only ever watched the Steve Carell ones, and those ones are funny as fuck. I'm never gonna forget this. Stop. All right, guys, everything's calm down. Oh, shit lives rent free in my head. Keep in mind,
oh yeah.
Do you know who voices Gru in Eliminations? Steve Carell. He's a terrific voice actor. Terrific. Just a class act for an actor of all time.
Oh yeah. And you watch that movie where he plays the millionaire. It's based on a true story, and this millionaire helped out the U.S. wrestling Olympic team and ended up shooting one of the coaches. And Steve Carell plays the millionaire, and he does an amazing job in that film. I forgot what it was called, but yeah, that one's a really good. He's an all around really good actor. And the British Office, if you get a chance with Ricky Gervais, is also really, really good.
Never gonna forget Ricky Gervais's oh my god, his speech at one of the Oscars or Academy Awards. It was back in 2021 or something like that. Oh my god, he just roasted the fuck out of them. That's awesome. I actually loved it.
Beautiful to watch.
So before I get into the topics tonight, everyone, because I know a lot of you guys are going to watch this on the replay, which is fine. I'm glad. A lot of you guys like the shows, which is awesome. What I say here is what I mean. I'm not saying it because someone else told me. I'm not saying it because of any other reasons. I've followed a lot of things for a very long time to kind of gather like how I can feel about someone, because on the internet, it is so easy for someone to fake who they are because of, well, this, right? You're not in front of someone. Like body language matters. This is one thing I do always credit women that they're very good at. And I don't usually credit women at all, because women are just god awful now, just absolute trash. Women are actually very good at picking up on body language to see if they have a decent shot at a partner and a guy that's trying to interact with them. Women are very good at that. And that's the thing that's hard to differentiate when you're on the internet, because of you're not in front of someone. Body language and mannerisms, how someone receives information versus how they talk back to you in any way, all matters. So easy on the internet for people to forget that and go, well, I just didn't know. I just didn't know. Well, yeah, but there's no way you could ever convince me you didn't know signs of something, because people always slip up. They always slip up, you know? But I will also say this. For me, because I have to go over two situations in this before we start. There's the Jimmy Reyes situation. And I know people were like, hey, he found Jesus and all that stuff and whatever. Guys, I don't think God is real anyway. But sure, if he did, fine. But he did do all that after taking people's money and not delivering their product. This is the thing. I would never consider these people good people, okay? How would I say this? Like Sam Bankman-Fried, the guy that did the whole FTX scandal, I'm pretty sure his mom would call him a good guy. That's his mom. She kind of obligatorily has to say that, right? But I'm not his mom. I'm not related to that guy. I would never call that guy a good person at all, because he screwed over a bunch of people. I would never call people that do this good. Screwing over people in this kind of fashion is wrong. And a person can scapegoat themselves into finding Jesus Christ, or whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean nowadays, and then being like, okay, well, that kind of, passes me by on getting any sort of criticism because now I just found Jesus. And it's like, hello? Doesn't the Bible, it talks about atoning for your sins? Does say that. One of the fucking verses that says that, I think. I could be wrong, but who knows, right? I haven't read the Bible in fucking 5-6 years, honestly. But that's just my thing. When it came to that situation, it was more like, well, people said he found God. That's great. Oh, he also screwed people out of a lot of money. And I get it. He was going through some stuff. I get it. I fully get it. But that doesn't mean you just get to scam people. That's just how life works. Like, all of us have shit we're going through. Every single person does, right? But all of us that have shit we're dealing with, none of us do the things that I'm going to mention to you guys. Grape any women. We do not go and rob banks. We do not hurt children. We do not, fucking hell, drink and drive. None of these bad things we do, right? That would actually make you a good person. Not doing anything heinous or bad that would cause someone immense harm, obviously. That would make, in my opinion, that makes you a good person, right? But in me not doing all of that stuff, which is very, very bad, egregious things, I'm also still potentially going through something. Just because you're going through something doesn't mean you just get to kind of like fuck a bunch of other people over, my opinion. That's how I feel, like that would be like saying when my mom passed away that would give me the right to go up and like, drink and drive and fucking potentially kill someone else. Does that give me the right to do that? I was going through something, so that just gives me the right to just fuck over other people, potentially ruin someone else's life the same way. No, it does not. Sorry. It's just how it works as being a man. You just got to just deal with it, figure out the best way to, get things to get back on track for you. Like, I don't know what people want me to say. This is part of being a man in the real world. This is what being a man is. You just, shit gets thrown your way. It could be good or bad. You have to deal with it. People say, but that's just not, well, what you're saying is crazy. You just deal with it. Yeah, you just deal with it. Because how else would you, what do you want to do? Just sit there and not deal with it? That's what women do. Women don't sit there and deal with anything. They ask men to take care of their problems. But I just want to make sure I say that before we start the video, because I don't like that. I don't like someone doing that and being like they have a scapegoat in fucking Christianity. That's really just so, I just hate that. I hate that so much, Because if that happened to anybody else, you would not be getting that same level of like, oh, well, you just found Jesus. It's fine. Warren, I know you just found Jesus. I know you like screwed me out of like $40,000. It's okay, man. Bygones be bygones, right? It's like,
forgive, man.
It's like,
now,
really?
Reyes, what situation is this? Because I'm out of the loop.
I was just using that as a freaking example. That Jimmy had been at ComicsGate for a long time, you know?
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. It's like, if you're doing your first campaign and you don't know like the realities of it because you haven't experienced through it, or you don't have anyone coaching you and telling you the truth, it's very easy to have the whole thing turn into a disaster. Whatever your goal is, whatever you make, you're only going to be pulling in to yourself after you have to pay for everything. 50 is like the lowest. It's like 60-70% of the money can go to filling out, to getting the stickers made, the covers paid for, the art finished, the every time you have a variant cover, you have to do a print run for that variant cover. So then that variant cover means if I have 5 variant covers and I'm going through Comics Wellspring, I have to print out at the very least 25 books of each one of those covers if someone orders just one of them. Right? One of cover B, I have to do 25 copies because that's the minimum. If you try to do one copy, it's going to cost way too much to get them printed. So yeah, this stuff can escalate very quickly. It costs a lot of money to run a Kickstarter. It costs a lot of money to make a comic book, and
costs a lot of money to ship the comic book and everything.
Yeah.
And then also deal with the fact that someone may not get their books. You have to you can't refund them because they paid for it. You have to dig into your own fucking inventory, give them a book that they already did pay for, but that's an extra book that could have been sold to someone else that did know you exist at a con potentially.
Yeah.
Like, because before we do the video itself, I want to also point this out. A bunch of people that said that Eric July was, criticizing crowdfunding. Do you know how many fucking people I saw acting like straight up Karens when that happened? Wait, crowdfunding's not perfect. Like, let's not be. I do truly hate people. I really do. Some of you guys out there are so fucking retarded. Oh my god, someone criticized crowdfunding. Oh no. What are you 5-year-old kids? I've never seen that. Was the one. I mean, people. I don't get mad at this stuff. I just kind of point, laugh, and trash talk. That's just my thing. But I've never seen a group of bitch-made pussies get that bent out of shape for that.
Well, yeah.
When collectively, if you had said that, you would have been just people were like, yeah, man, I agree, full 100%. You're right, Warren. Oh my god, you're speaking facts. Someone said it that they didn't like saying it. They're like, oh my god. How dare you? How dare you criticize crowdfunding? All of us criticize crowdfunding for late books. Every single one of us do. So that's criticizing crowdfunding. Now, do I hate people that crowdfund? No. But first of all, in life, that's actually something out of like literal leftist playbooks. You can't criticize because then it's just hate. It's like,
well, like look at what Eric July did. He went, instead of doing crowdfunding where Kickstarter is going to take their percentage and Indiegogo is going to take their percentage, and wherever you go to, going to get a chunk out. He just opened up a website or started a website and did his own crowdfunding on his own site, where now he doesn't have to pay any other fees except for whatever the website costs and whatever his money handler, whatever company he uses for the money part, whether it's like PayPal or whatever, they take their little chunks out. But it's going to be a lot less than what Kickstarter did. And he was able to do, I can't do that, but he was able to do that because he had a million person audience and he sold that book to that audience. And then he turns around and he makes 2 more of them, and like 3, like Yara and Alpha Core,
so
Horseman.
The actual campaign numbers he had never going to be broken. So like I saw one at 3.7, I saw 2 had 2.5, something like that, which is that's crazy. These are multi-millions. These are just a single. These are multi-millions of the first 2. Then Alpha Core had like 1.3. Yara took in $1 million faster than ISA number 1, but that one took in like 1.2.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, even if he never hits those numbers ever again, this man had 4 back-to-back multi-million-dollar campaigns. That is actually insane to think about. If you really actually think about it, multi-millionaires.
I've read ISA 1 and 2. I didn't read 3 because I'm it's just not for me. I didn't like it. I read part of Horseman and I didn't really get into it, but that's just me personally. as for business wise, I mean, I've got nothing but the utmost respect for what he's done and how he's built up his deal. And what I like about him now, and I might be wrong, on X, I don't see him. The only thing I see him really talking shit about is politics.
Mostly just the Democratic, mostly just the Republican or Democrat Party.
It's politics. But then aside from that, he's marketing his book. He's like essentially, because before he became started doing comic books, he essentially had a channel that was kind of was drama farming. It was attacking mainstream and building up that audience and the tribe, if you will. Then he went into comics. One thing I like now, even though I think there is a question of quality on some of his books, but along those lines, and they're not for everybody. Like, I haven't seen anything yet that they're producing that I want to spend $35 for a floppy for. So there's pricing issues that I don't agree with. I just noticed that he's doing a lot of promoting. I know his more characters. I know more about the Ripperverse characters and their comics just from his marketing and coming across my Twitter than I know about most of the CG. Like, I barely know anything about, like, I know Cyberfrog, and that's pretty much it right now. And that's just, I don't.
It's also crazy to think about when people go like sales are going down. You can automatically tell who's a tourist. Like, I can tell if you know comic books just from how you speak, because crazy enough, background prove otherwise to you guys. Yeah. And we also run a comic book channel. Obviously, I would have to know something about the books, right? But comic book sales, people look at sales when they look at one thing. So when people see, like, I don't know, revenue going up, they assume that means that's always how it should be for every business. For comic books, from what I've realized, you want to have books that are doing consistently good. Not that they're outperforming but the other ones previously, or the ones that'll come after said previous one I just said. You want them to be doing consistently good, right? Because, guys, comic books, if you guys don't know this, the way you guys think sales work for comic, it doesn't. Because the DC is going to put out a brand new Batman #1 September this year, right? So that Batman #1 book is going to sell gangbusters, right? But by the time it gets to like Batman issue number 20, it's not going to sell as well as #1. It'll still be selling very good, but it won't be selling as very one. Now, by that same logic you guys use for Eric July, did DC just lose sales? Yes, they did. But the book is doing consistently well, though. You have comic books in the market that is we're talking about. You have to thrive off consistency. If you're consistent, you'll be getting the numbers. It's not comic books will always have fall off. I don't know why that was just a thing people just applied to the Rippaverse. It's like, it was crazy for the campaigns. Already did multi-million-dollar back to back, right? You're not gonna like the fact that anyone expected that constantly is just ridiculous. That's actually insane. That you guys know that the highest selling comic book never even hit $1 million. Didn't the highest selling comic book only hit like 350K or something like that?
Well, no, on Kickstarter the million mark had been broken a few times.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about what people traditionally think of comic books like Marvel and DC. I think the highest selling comic book is like at least X-Men #1.
Not for a long time if it has. But the thing is too. Well, you're absolutely right, because barely ever in comic books.
I was a little off.
Barely ever, #1 gets a lot of sales because it's #1, and there's the hype and there's the collection value. #2 is people who liked #1 and want to keep reading the story. #3 is how many people they can retain from there. It's not uncommon to see drops. What's important is, did ISOM #3 make enough money to cover printing, fulfillment, and pay the bills and put money in his pocket? If it did all three of those things, and he can consistently keeping his books, paying the bills, paying fulfillment, and keeping money in his pocket, then he's succeeding. And that's the thing. It's like, if you have a comic book and you're making $500,000, $600,000, even $100,000 on that book, and it's paying the bills and everything's going good with the regular ongoing series, then what is the difference between ISOM 3 and ISOM 4? That's one thing to be interesting. Like, is he retaining readers through the whole thing.
Because the average person, they only see what's on the surface level. And sometimes, so like with movies, what you see on the surface level is actually what's going on. But that doesn't apply to people. That doesn't apply to everything. The reason why movies have to function like that is because that's all we see. You know, we don't see all of those back-end deals the executives talk about. I don't know how much money you sold a movie to like fucking FX for. But I can make money in other ways. All right, cool. Then show me the numbers. They don't, because obviously they might be higher or lower depending on said movie, said product, whatever it is. Keep in mind, everyone needs to listen to this. Not everything as a sales chart works the same. Now, if you see a rapid decline in everything, that's when it becomes a red flag. So if every single Rippaverse campaign only did like 10K each time, that's when you would be like, okay, this is actually getting pretty fucking bad. This is actually going like in the toilet. As long as they're doing the usual numbers and extra to keep the lights on, then they're doing fine. Literally, keep in mind, guys, after campaigns, given how, if you have, because Eric has enough money to advertise on them on YouTube and Twitter and everything, people still buy the books after the campaigns are over. Okay, so it's not just what the numbers you see, still sells the books after they're finished, actually. Okay, so there's stuff that we don't see that has to be applied when you're going over the stuff. But I wanted to make sure I went over that stuff because it's just like, oh my god, I've never seen such a bunch of fucking pussified weirdos. Oh my god, you criticize crowdfunding. Yeah, all of you did too. I just don't know why when he brought it up, it was such a big deal. I feel like that's so. I really, that's one of my biggest pet peeves in life is when people do something, but one person says it, and then they get mad at that person, even though they're the ones that say it too. The exact same wording, the exact same thing too. I hate that. That is how people like play favorites with people, and I really don't like that. It actually irks the shit out of me. It's like he said the same things we were saying. Why are we getting mad at this? Like fuck, are you that much of a pussy? You're this offended over that? You said I've heard many people say the same thing. Like this is ridiculous. It's crazy. It's actually insane. So I know I said it was 4 million for the highest selling comic book. No, I to be fair, I was wrong. I knew it was somewhere almost close to 10 million. But keep in mind, so like we'll just use this as an example. So the highest selling comic book is, the X-Men. I think it's Jim Lee's X-Men #1. Sold like 8.2 million copies. Even that's a little disingenuous because that's stores ordering, not exactly. If people don't like it, see, this is why you would not need to look at service level numbers like this. Yes, 8.2 million copies that retailers ordered or people walking in and buying said book.
Well, how many of those copies went into circulation to readers?
Right.
How many of them went to stores, and how many of them? Because now this was also a time period where Marvel was doing mail home subscriptions. So
I remember that. Oh, good old mail home subscriptions.
A big chunk of that could be mail-in subscriptions too. So you'd have to break it down, like you said, looking at the numbers and how they are.
Yeah, and I'm not saying maybe it did do that, but if I didn't tell you that retailer angle, you would think that's fucking just all money. Keep in mind, you guys need to look into stuff more than just thinking like, okay, this is what's here. Then, that's all how it goes. Before we get to the video, I can't. I waited for this so long. I feel so vindicated. Just like when that white Black Panther thing came up, if I could do backflips right now, my whole fucking house would come down. Holy shit! But go over some of you guys' comments before. I'll do the video really quickly. But he was going to dance on the graves of Marvel and DC. I mean, was he wrong though? Marvel and DC at the time when he said this, Marvel was doing very bad. DC was doing very bad, guys. Literally, DC around this time just got rid of Rebirth. Fans really liked Rebirth outside of Tom King's Batman run here and there, right? They just got rid of it. Marvel, debatably, what were they doing? Fucking random events no one cared for, making characters no one cared for. Oh my god, that one group of characters they did were doing, Safe Space and Snowflake. God, it was like New Champions, something like that. Something like that.
Was that the new Mutants book?
I think it was that. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about though. Yeah, I don't think that ever actually went to print.
Yes, that's actually crazy. The backlash was so unbelievably bad. They were like, we can't make this. That's how you know you guys have more power than you think. But then again, did anyone really ever fucking want to read that? I don't think even Looney Tune people wanted to read that. We need a white MSK. Damn. It's true. So fucking true. But I'll ask you, man, before we go into the video, how was your week so far?
It's been a long week, but it's wrapping up pretty good. And yeah, been just working the day job and working on issue 4 of Sig and Joe, and I'm tired, but I'm working through. Excited for our talk tonight.
It's so fun, so fun. Neither Marvel or DC make any money from actual book sales. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because it's crazy how people were mad at Eric for criticizing comic books. These are people that literally I can pretty much almost guarantee you did actually read the books themselves and only watched other people critique the stuff. A lot of people came on what I just said to you. On the internet, it's really easy to fake something, give or take, avatars that people hide behind and all the other stuff, which is fine. I'm not saying you can't have an avatar, but what I'm bringing up is like, if to me, it personally feels like people were watching other people talk about said thing than them actually, being a fan of it. Now, there was a lot of people that were comic fans that just hated what was going on. That's fine. I fully, I can see that. I can fully understand that. I get that. But the amount of people that don't know what really goes on, it goes to show you, no, you're just watching people say this stuff. You're not actually buying any books, because when people said, now to be fair, you can criticize Eric for this. The whole pricing of ISOM, number one, it was like $35, but keep in mind, it's to start up a company to get in the door and everything. And guys, compendiums from like DC cost way more than that. Like I'm gonna tell you guys right now, omnibuses, if you want to just get them like sealed, MSRP, cheaper than MSRP, go on like eBay, it's a secret. You go on eBay and you get them less than MSRP. Sellers on eBay are selling them less than MSRP. Those are like $80.
Oh
like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Plus,
it's
a $5 comic book being printed out by Marvel. Marvel only sees half of that money because the comic shop takes their orders from Marvel. Marvel charges them 50% the cover cost of the book, and then those shops sell them at the cover cost on the shelf. So then right there, you're instantly getting half of your profits cut. Marvel has to pay to get the book made. So that's the penciler, inker, colorist, letterist, editorial. So so then you already have a cost just to get the darn thing made, and then you print them out, and you're only making 50% of the cover cost on that, and then that's why like the graphic novel sales are good because they can take that stuff that they've already paid for being done, collect it together, and now you're getting a better half deal on it because you're selling a $20 graphic novel that probably costs about $5 to $7 to print. With Marvel printing in mass quantity, maybe even down to $3 or $4 to print, depending on the size and if it's a hardcover graphic novel or along those lines. So for that $20 graphic novel, it's costing Marvel $4 per print run, so that they make more money in the long run.
Yeah, that's the thing too. A lot of people, what I understand, it's when people say that they were reading a lot of books. When someone says I'm reading a lot of books, they're probably only picking up popular characters, which is fine. I do the same thing myself.
Yeah.
But there's no way someone said they're reading everything is true. That's not possible. I can show you guys right now on leagueofcomicsgeeks.com what comes out average between everything that drops from Marvel, DC, Image, Dark Horse, Boom, and IDW and all this. No way someone's read everything. Mostly what people were doing is they were buying Batman, Superman, X-Men, Spider-Man, Hulk,
Deadpool sometimes, but he's
Justice League, Avengers. Yeah, anything popular you can think of. Those books were getting bought, okay? People weren't buying and reading everything. That's impossible. Nobody can read everything. I know I can't. So when someone was saying that comic books were bad, I was kind of questioning, like, how many books are you reading, though? Like, is it kind of, to be fair, I know the comic companies do bad things. I understand. Just recently, DC made a really crazy hiring of someone that we'll go over next week. It's just like, oh my God, this company. 2 steps forward, 1,000 steps back, flipping off a fucking building. Like, is it fair to judge a company based off of, like, 2 books you've read? So, like, is it fair that I give up on all comic books because maybe I'm reading Batman and Superman and it's not good? Keep in mind, double-edged sword there. those should be the best books because it's fucking Batman and Superman. Why would they not be the best books? By a logical, sane person saying that, right? But, you know, I don't know.
Well, you know, if you go to a Denny's, your local Denny's, and the food's crap, and you go into the next city and try Denny's and the food's crap, pretty much you're going to think that all Denny's are shit. But you're going to miss out on that really well managed one where you get a moon over your Miami's or Slammy or whatever. And fucking, it's really good. So it's the same way. You know, you read a couple books, or you hear some shitty stuff, or you hear about writers saying, "I don't want you to read my stuff," or "We hate this or that," or "You're all terrible, horrible, despicable people." Then yeah, you just want to put that kind of. It's because it's much easier just to blanket blame the whole thing. I did it too. There was a time period, when, you know, that I was like, "Oh yeah, Marvel sucks now. They don't have anything good." That was around the safe space time period, and but
like after Civil War II.
Yeah, it was just like there's nothing great going on. I'm not reading any of this crap because I was like full in reading manga at that time period. But now I'm reading multiple Image series. I'm reading all of the Absolute stuff. I'm reading Ultimate Wolverine, Ultimate Spider-Man.
You don't even know. You don't even know, man. You guys don't even know. You guys don't even know. It's actually even worse. So I'll say this before we get to the video. We do have to get to the video, so there are going to be long ones to do. You know, my wife likes the longer ones too. You know, bigger is better, as obviously. I do like Absolute Batman. I think Absolute Batman is very, very good. Last time I read an issue and reviewed it with Labs Comic Fan, we finished on issue number 7. I read the first issue of Absolute Superman. I thought it was not good. Being honest here, I said in the review, I thought it was trash. I thought it was garbage, honestly. The first 3 issues of Absolute Wonder Woman, I really liked when we reviewed them. I liked issue 1. Issue 1 was really good. Like, fucking fantastic. Issue 2 and 3 went a little too slice of life. We're going to finish it at some point. It's just so much news coming up. Trying to get the conflicts when there's fucking news. But I didn't mind Absolute Wonder Woman or Batman. I just think Superman issue was just fucking garbage. Absolute Superman issue 1 is legit terrible.
Did it ever get good, or is it...
Who knows? I haven't read the other issues yet.
Oh, I have all of them, but I haven't read them yet because I'm either drawing or working or sleeping anymore. So
I'm either like banging my wife, working, or going to the gym. Or
one thing that's nice about reviewing with, comics with you is that it actually gets me to read comic books more. I actually take time.
No, we are them. For sure we are behind. But it's just one of these things where, like, I feel like if people were to buy the books and read them, I'm not saying you should even buy them technically, because you can just get them torrented on a pirate site in One Piece in Minecraft, allegedly said by someone named MSK on the MSK show that has thousands and thousands of views on YouTube.
If you add them all up,
if you literally, because this is the thing that people don't do. People need to try to use their advantages more to themselves. People use this with movies a lot. You don't have to go to the movies to watch the newest movies. Movies have digital release dates. You can watch the movies in 1080p on certain websites when the digital dates drop. You can read new comic books on certain websites. There's a website my James sent me where you can read new comic books on there weekly. You can have access to this stuff, you know, at any point. You know, and it doesn't require you making a money investment. Like, that's the thing is, if someone says something bad, this is what I've always did. If someone says something's bad, I myself want to go experience said thing. And even though we might agree it's bad, but at least I want to know why I don't like something rather than, hey, I only just don't like it because you don't like it, because that would make me a fucking NPC. No one says the word NPC anymore. It's gone. It's gone now. I used to love that word. Like, I don't know. My brain is fried at this point. But give me one moment here. All right. You guys want to start? It's going to be such a banger. I've been waiting for this forever. I know Warren has been too. Let me just confirm this guess for Monday. Yeah. Okay. So let me just get that one done. And these ones are so good. I'm so excited. Oh, it's just the Family Guy reference right there. I just only read issue 1. If it does get better, I'll get to it eventually. I'm not saying it got worse. I'm just saying from issue 1, I was like, man, this is fucking rough. Imagine giving that to someone that's their first Superman comic. They would rip that shit up and fucking piss on it and just fucking shit on it and light it up with a match. That shit was awful. I'm not kidding. It's literally one of the worst written dialogues book I've ever read. It's horrible. Jason Aaron, what are you cooking on that one? Motherfucker was doing straight up hardcore meth on that first issue. But hey, if issues 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are better, it's awesome. I like that. He literally sandbagged me so hard, I had to lower my expectations even lower than going into the book. That's but it is showtime. I was about to call this game day, actually. Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about a ComicsGate project failing to deliver as backers get screwed. So I know you guys are watching this video on my comic book channel because this is where I put my comic book and manga and news related content on this channel, because on my main channel, I'd want to fuck your mom in the end. I'm just joking. Who are we talking about again?
Huh?
His name was Rob Hunter. I forgot his name right there. I was like, who the fuck? I did. I don't like the design. I think the design is fucking horrible, honestly. Hello, Mike. How you doing, bro? How you been? Hope you're having a good night. Want to see something funny? Some would say my sex life. But hope you guys been doing good. I haven't got a chance to talk to Mike and Mindy in forever, but one day we'll have you back on the show again, and we'll search Master Racers. Yes, I'm on issue 7. I'm on issue 7. I have to read issue 8. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Master Racers. Oh yeah. Okay. Before we do, I will. I'll do it right now because I haven't seen it yet. I really haven't. This be
Master
my first...
Racers. Is this a comic or show?
Oh no, it's Ethan launching a mini little car theme.
Oh like yeah, on Fun My Comic. Yeah.
I
wonder about that one. I really do. I mean, like. Look at the spot to Fund My Comics in. Like, okay, so Ethan goes on there, runs a campaign. If he doesn't fulfill, then Fund My Comic is going to have to do something about it. But if they do something about it, then they face the wrath of the dog pile. And it's
I found it.
It's just going to be. It's going to be really, it's not a good spot for them to be in. I think.
I disrespected Hot Wheels. I'm just saying, look at Hot Wheel cars.
It's a tough spot for them.
He had to launch on Fund My Comic because he maxed out.
Yeah, he launched on Fund My Comic. Yeah, he can't do IGG anymore. Well, not anymore. He just can't do it.
Technically, he can do one. If you count that did he fulfill the Dark Harvest one? If you count that, then maybe he can get another one, but I don't know.
Well, isn't there a thing about him not fulfilling the sketches or something on Dark Harvest, or is that another campaign?
We'll go with that eventually. We're going with that.
Yeah.
It's too funny.
Yeah, I don't know.
Reaction to that. It's hilarious.
It's one of the things that's nice about being an artist, like comic artist, that I'm doing is like I really am too busy to keep up with all this shit. So it's actually kind of nice.
One moment. So Mike wanted us to go over CG Master Racers by Creepy Van Driver and All Shit Comics.
So he's got Lord made his goal.
Lord Jesus. Hold on. Lord. Good God. I remember this fat piece of dog shit saying that Yellow Flash's campaign failed opening day because it made $50,000 in less than 6 hours.
Well, I mean, this
only raised 3,000. This raised almost 3,000 in 5 hours.
And let's see here. He's getting.
Isn't that right to call this a failure?
They're doing correct.
He's getting was that $80 per backer on average. Yeah, I mean, it's for a race car. We'll see what happens when the next comic book campaign comes out. You know what I mean? Like, but I would expect more. But it is a race car, though. I mean,
it's actually hilarious. Oh, okay. I mean,
wait till that weird manga looking book comes out, and let's see.
I thought it was going to be that one. That's the one I thought it was going to launch. Was that ugly, horrible?
Yeah, wait till that one comes out, and when that one doesn't do $1 million or whatever they're thinking it's whatever he usually does, because this was kind of like, okay, I got another artist and I'm writing now, I guess. So if this one bombs, we'll see on how, because Yellow Flash is all the shit they're talking now about Yellow Flash and Evie and Eric July. If that one doesn't do good, that's going to be a pretty big
my
pie
point
in the face.
was that if people considered making $60,000 in less than 24 hours of failure, then what is that?
Yeah.
What is the levels here when it comes to this stuff? But don't worry, guys. I promise you guys a banger video, and I can't wait to get into it. Oh my god, I'm over the moon. Focus.
Rob Hunter.
His name is Rob. Yeah, go. Great guy, Rob. Took $30,000 from $30K, $26K, $32,000, $700. Yeah, $32,270. Yep, great guy. Stole $32,000. Great guy. Why do people use such cognitive dissonance when they talk? He's such a good person. He only just stabbed me and kicked me in my ribs and beat the fuck out of me. But he gave me cookies when I was 5 years old. He's such a good guy. What wrong with you people? But nevertheless, let's have some fun. Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about ComicsGate project fails to deliver as backers get screwed. So this is something that I don't normally talk about on this channel. So when you guys are watching this video, this is going to actually be on my comic book and manga YouTube channel. That's where I upload all of my comic book and manga related content, right? So I actually used to do a podcast called the Iron Man Podcast, where I would interview a bunch of indie comic book creators from the scene. Notably, that's where I first actually met Lunchbox Warren at. He came on the first time. I was like, this man can, wait a minute, hold on. He can have a conversation. He can actually, make his comic books on time, and he knows how to carry himself. Because I'm not trying to be mean here or offensive, but when I had certain people on, I'm not saying names because it was a recurring theme, right? People say, why don't you name a name? It's not about naming a name. The problem here is I saw this in many people. They couldn't really conversate very well. It felt like they never really gone outside and interacted with human beings at all, completely socially awkward weirdos, right? But I felt like the heart was there. I felt like they really did care about what they were doing. They just had such underdeveloped, horrible personalities. They were literally socially retarded in every other way outside of making comic books.
It's sad when you see the passion there, but they can't emote it. It's so, you can see it's there. You can see it in their work, but they just don't know how to talk. It's an acquired skill. It took practice. When I first started doing this, I was terrible at it. But yeah.
I feel like when I finally had you on the show, I was getting the finished product. You finally evolved into a Super Saiyan. And I loved doing it. And I didn't even want recognition for it. I didn't even want people on Twitter to be like, hey, this is the guy that does indie comic book reviewers in interviews, right? Because I still get hit up to this day to have people on the show to talk about their indie comic book, which is fine. If you want to come on and ever, talk with me and have a conversation about your indie comic book and, talk about your love of comic books, as long as you can hold a conversation, I'm cool with you. As long as you can talk to me and not like, hey, why do you like Superman? Oh, I like him because he's a cool cape. It's all right, we're not doing that. You're not going to waste my time. You have no effort and enthusiasm for talking to me, and you get the fuck away from me. But nevertheless, but if you do ever want to come on the show, just hit me up on X and we can have you on. But so I kind of known about indie comic books, so essentially being honest here, just through Eric July. Because he was affiliated with CG when back when ISOM first launched back in 2022. Then you get the Rippaverse thing. Then I went down the whole CG rabbit hole. Good Lord. And then there's this other section of indie comic books out there, which is people like you and people like, Mike and Mindy Wheeler and all that other stuff. It was fascinating to see just so much drama that would go on in all of this, and everyone has this as a collective thing. People will say oh my, there's so much drama in the mainstream. In Marvel, DC, Image, that's all the drama happens. Now, guys, people don't know this. There's so much drama that happens here in the indie comic scene. You guys if I told you things that I know, you would be fucking going like crazy, obviously. You think like, damn, people that are not known would want to kind of like, you know, not need drama. Because like essentially, why would a bunch of nobodies be having drama go on when essentially that's what I just said. You're a nobody. It doesn't matter. Like you don't like this guy doesn't mean shit. You're not known. You both aren't known. You're fucking you're like losers.
It's
you know.
at my last job, I actually played one of my coworkers, one of the streams where they were having one of their comic book wars. You know, like they were talking about CG and all this other stuff, and they're just like, what the hell? This is comic books. Why are they so angry? It was just like, oh, I was like, you guys don't even wait till you crack the nut of indie comics drama. It is like a 8 to 10 season friggin' like Days of Our Lives TV series that just will not end.
And then hey, I had people on my show that I gave them more than enough of my time, and I noticed that sometimes when I said a controversial thing, because people know I like to just shit talk on Twitter. I'm the king of trash talk. I had some people just unfollow me. I was like, all right, cool. You won't be ever getting my time ever again. Oh my God. These are people that told me that they were mad at leftist, liberal, progressive activists, whatever you want to call them, for kind of creating language to be a certain way and everything that they did and all that stuff, right? Only for me to basically be like, hey, I think women aren't that smart. Women shouldn't vote, in my opinion. Oh, put a link, unfollow. people that literally act the same way that they do. It was just mind-blowing, right? But, you know, outside of that, there were some really great people that we did end up meeting. I met through the Iron Man podcast when I had that on Rumble and everything. It was awesome. It truly was. It was an experience that I'll never do again, but I will have indie creators on if you want to talk about your comic book. But that all boils down into my next portion of this video, which is Eric July made a comment about crowdfunding. I truly, honestly, I'll be honest, I forgot what it was. But from what I remember, it really wasn't that bad. Basically, from what I remember, he was criticizing people who basically are late on their campaigns and that they don't take this seriously and they kind of fuck around and they don't actually get work done.
Yeah.
Now keep in mind what I said, but those three things I just said there, that is what nearly every single person in this space, whether they say it on Twitter or any other social media platform where you can talk about indie comic books, or they say it obviously on shows like these that we're doing, they all talk like that. A lot of people have a problem with late campaigns that don't deliver and creators that basically just fuck around. They don't like that. Now, what's crazy is the reason why I got mad at people for saying that was the fact that we all say that. We didn't like that. I don't like that myself. You know, I don't. I'm being honest here. It's like something where I watched this video one time, and it was so true. You know how like people want to give you their sob story every 5 fucking minutes, every single time, and it's like, dude, I like you, and I don't even care. As a man, just telling you right now, as a man, told you, if it's life or death, I want to hear about it because that's an important thing. It's fine, right? It's life or death. I'm talking like you got into a car accident, your mom may have like fucking died, anything super serious like that. But no man to another man wants to hear you bitch and moan about, oh, well, I got a bad day at work and I can't do my comic book campaign because my wife like banged my brother. I saw his long cock and like I can't function. And like, I like you and I don't even care. No one wants to hear the sob story. People just want to see their fucking shit done. That's all they care about. You know, you have people that rather complain about their problems constantly than just, you know, you're the creator, you just fix the problems, right? I don't care how you fix them. Fix them. That's what the average person would want to any business, right? Mm-hmm. And Eric July criticized crowdfunding the same way we all did, and then he was vilified for saying correct things. That's my biggest thing, is people that play favorites with people when you're allowed to say something and everyone just seal clap for you. But then if another person says it that you don't like, said something, but it is truthful, we have to just like destroy that person. It's like, what in the world? If Joe Biden said something completely factually correct, I'd agree with him because I'm not that retarded. I'm not that biased to someone where it's like, if you said something factually correct, whatever. You got a point there.
Just like in politics, in indie comics, you have your groups, and those groups have, you know, they essentially make money and market off of going after people. And he's the big enemy. So whatever he says is going to be scrutinized. So whatever he does, if he makes $1 million,
Right.
It's gonna be scrutinized. If he's gets all his books on time, it's gonna be scrutinized. It doesn't matter what Eric July does. There's always gonna be people who scrutinize him. Now, I think that Eric July, there's plenty of stuff that you can critique on there. You can on the quality of the artwork, but yes. I will say this though is he keeps delivering. He keeps growing, and from what I understand, the stuff is getting, at least quality-wise, better. Now, like I said, I haven't enjoyed any of the comic books that I've read of his yet. I haven't seen anything to catch my eye, but that's an opinion thing. That doesn't mean anything about his quality just because I don't see anything that I'm entertained with. But his marketing is on spot, and from what I can tell, he's really concentrates on marketing his comics, and the only time that you see him in the drama stuff now is in with politics. So he's not going on every day talking about his people who hate him, from what I can understand. He's not going on every day just essentially just living off of hating somebody else. He seems to be selling his comic book and talking politics and keeping his presence up, which is good. I mean, if you want to live off this shit, you're going to have to produce enough money that you put in your pocket each year to survive. So if you need to live off of 40 grand a year, you need to produce enough on your comic books to make that 40 grand. And then if you do, then you can live off and you can be a success. You have to pocket 40 grand, you're going to have to do 3 times that in a Kickstarter, because it takes like 50 to 70% of your money that comes in to fulfill the Kickstarter. Now, it's different variations if you do your own artwork like I do. I don't have to spend money on the artist, but I still have to spend money on the printing, on the books. I have to do all that stuff. So if you have a $30,000 campaign, it's going to take $15,000 to $17,000 of that to fulfill it. So then that means after that, now you're sitting with, was it like $13,000, $12,000 left? Well, now if it costs you, $2,000 a month to survive, which more days now it's like $4,000, depending on if you have a house, depending on if you have a family, it could even be more payments along those lines. Well, then that 12,000 is only going to carry you. But guess what? You should be putting that 12,000 into your next book. So,
and it's just the thing to go into your argument, which is to tackle onto a point you made. I also want to point out, customers do not care as long as they get a finished product.
Yes, because this is a pre-ordering system, and if I pre-order a book and you don't deliver it to me in a sensible amount of time, now,
we'll use Starbucks, for example. You go to Starbucks in the morning to get some coffee. You don't care how that coffee's made. All you care is that you swiped your card. Person says, "Hey, what name would you like to be called?" They get your coffee. You leave. You get your shit on time. You get the fuck out.
Yeah. If I go to a restaurant and they come to me and say, "Sorry, our oven just went down and we cannot get you your food. Here is your money back. And here is, hope you come back again." If they can do, I'm fine. Like, shit happens, man. I understand. Thanks for my money back. And I'll see you, when hopefully you get that stuff fixed. But if I go into McDonald's and order a burger and no one comes out, no one talks to me, no one updates me, no one refunds me, and then eventually I'm just left in the lobby as they're turning the lights off, and I'm just going around like, what the hell? I'm going to be pissed because I ordered something and it didn't get here, and then and
this is something that people in this kind of space don't understand. It doesn't matter if there's a bunch of fat fucks out there who are sitting at home drinking Mountain Dew, eating Doritos, and going like, I don't care if a book's late as long as it's great quality, blah, blah, whatever the fuck that trash is supposed to mean. That person's opinion should be thrown away and discarded. Someone's be like, why? I'll explain it to you. I'll just make the most basic example of life. You order something from Amazon. We all have Amazon Prime. I do too. That shit is fucking amazing. That shit said it's coming the next day when I order it. It better come the next fucking day because that's what the company said it's going to do. Maybe delivery driver was late one day. He had a lot of packages. Understandable. But if I ordered many packages and they all came late, would I still give my money to Amazon? Come on with what I just said there. Most people want their shit done when it says it's going to be done. Come on, you're the one that sets the time limit anyway. Okay? So you set the time for your stuff to come out. So when someone says, I don't care if it's late, that person's opinion doesn't mean jack shit because that person isn't living in reality. Most people get mad if a delivery they're supposed to have come is even just an hour late, 30 minutes late. Yeah. So I'm not going to take the opinion of some dumb, retarded fat fuck out there who says, well, if I wait for the book, it's going to be a better quality story and art. And even that's a disingenuous point because we know you guys don't read the books. You know, it's crazy. Ethan did say something that I did agree with. It's crazy. A broken clock is right once a day, right?
Or twice.
He said that people don't read the books, which is true. I agree with Ethan on that. Even let's just say you use that argument of you rather wait for better art, better story. First of all, that's not mutually exclusive. There's no way or rule where it says if you wait for this, it's going to be better. That's actually an illogical, straight up a illogical fallacy that you set up in your mind because you perceive that waiting longer means it's going to be better, even though that doesn't make any sense at all if you actually logically break that down. Second of all, people that get the books aren't reading them anyway. So you'd rather wait for a better story and art. You're not reading the book. It makes no difference.
Yeah.
I'd rather have it just come out on time and I'll get to it when I get to it. But to use this argument of like, you'd rather wait for a book because it's going to be a better art and story. Why would something taking longer mean it's going to be better? Or
yeah,
I truly think the dumbest people exist in this space. Arguments sayings like that break my brain. It's like you can't be that stupid.
One thing that never gets brought up too is the, Kate. So it takes me like 8 to 12 hours to draw a page for my comic book, and that's starting with nothing to gray wash because I don't do color. So I could do that in probably 8 to 12 hours, depending on what's on the page. Now, I'm not as good as AVS by no means, or even close to it. The amount of detail he's doing, he's probably taking him longer to do his pages, maybe just the 8 hours to do the penciling, whatever.
That's the point right there.
The point is I know how fast I can work. All artists know generally how fast they can work if they've been doing it for a couple books. The thing is that, okay, so if you knew it was going to take a long time to do your book, 2 to 3 years or whatever, then why didn't you just say that on the campaign? Like, there would be no question asked if the delivery date was
have most of it done as a proof of concept before launching.
Well, I always finish the book entirely before I do it.
Yeah, but
I've only done one crowd.
You're not a crazy deranged moron.
Well, and I'm also not living. I'm also not living off of comics, and I'm also not living off of YouTube streaming 5 to 8 hours a day. He's got to do his trash cast and all this other stuff, and also draw a page that can take anywhere to 8 to 12 hours for him to finish. And then he also has life going on there. So all of this stuff he already knew about. And then now it's like, well, you shouldn't be upset that it's taken 5 years to do Rainbow Brood. I'm working at it at my pace. It's like, well, no, I'm upset because I paid you money and you told me it was going to take X amount of time, and you've gone way past that, and now you're kind of shitting on me for being upset that you essentially lied to me.
I'll even answer your point. I just said, let's just say that not EVS. We'll just use a broad example here.
Yeah.
Let's just say a creator was late 3 years. Do you guys know how long just a single year is? A year is 365 days. They even teach us basic shit in school. We have 24 hours a day, guys. Now, barring work, commuting back and forth from work, if that is your life, whether you work at home, whether you have some kids and a wife, all that stuff. Keep in mind, I also want to make the caveat here, no one cares. You need to get your shit done. There's plenty of people out there with a bunch of kids, a wife, mortgage, and bills and all that stuff, and they still get shit done. So that's still not an excuse. If you're a man, still not an excuse. But look at it this way. There's 365 days in a year. And you're going to tell me it takes that long to do that? 365 days in a year, 24 hours. You can't take us that. Come on, guys, how much? I'm now times that by 3. Now I had 3 more years to that. Do you know how much plenty of free time we generally have if you don't have kids? It's fine. And people are like, but I'm tired after I have, my kids, they went to bed. After your kids go to sleep, start drawing then.
Well, yeah,
but I'm tired. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. You need to get this done. You have a deadline.
Yeah.
I'm just saying this is in general. No one wants to hear your sob story about your kids. I don't care. I literally could not give a flying fuck. No one gives a fuck. I might like you, and I don't even care. Get your shit done. Because keep in mind,
if you buy a book from me and I tell you 6 months, it better be done in 6 months.
Let's say my car breaks down. I went to a fucking mechanic, right? And he says, "Mijo, I'm Felipe. I'm the car mechanic. I get your shit done in 2 hours, Holmes." I come back. He says, "You know what? Fucking hell. It's going to take 2 months, Holmes." I'm going to be pretty fucking mad. Now, if he told me, "Holmes, like, you know, I had to go pick up my kids from school. I had to go pick up my wife." Does that make me care? I don't give a fuck. I don't even know these people you're telling me about. Who gives a fuck, honestly?
No, what he needs to do is, in his head, he knows what he has to get done. And then he calculates the time and tells you, hey, it's going to take me 6 hours to get this done. And then you know it's going to take 6 hours. If it's going to take you 6 months to draw the book, then give yourself 6 months to draw the book, or draw the book before you do the campaign. Give yourself a proper window. I've only done one campaign. The whole process of crowdfunding was just really taxing, and I need to start getting back into it again, but that's another story. But still, though, I was so worried about shit happening that I couldn't fulfill that I went ahead and made sure the book was done before I even thought about doing a Kickstarter. And then that my whole thing is I won't do the Kickstarter until the book is cleared editorial.
Every business does that. Every single business that has ever existed, even the ones that fail, have done that. I want people to really understand that, though. Whenever, like, a business, like, let's use McDonald's, Burger King, or whatever, want to unveil something new, and when it gets new and revealed to you, the customer, it's already been tested and tried months in advance before it goes and is available publicly, right? So the reason I want to bring up all that stuff is because it plays into what I'm going to bring up over here. The next thing I'm going to say here.
Hi, Netters.
I know what you guys are doing, and I understand your point of view, but this is where I have to interject and be like, nope. So this is a argument that people have used ever since I was alive, and it's the argument that goes like this. Let's say if you're married, right? And let's say, you know what? The wife is getting assaulted by the husband, which is bad, terrible, right? And she's like, and her friends would be like, man, leave him. He's a bad guy. But she's like, no, he's not a bad guy. He might give me black eyes. He might beat me up. He might throw me down the stairs. It's okay. He pays all the bills, and he's such a good guy. It's like, what the fuck? Like Stockholm syndrome, crazy shit, right? So when people tell me that individuals like this Rob Hunter guy are good guys when they've taken $32,000 and basically scammed you, when someone says that person is a good guy, that person was a good guy. God, you people are some of the biggest fucking retards I've ever known in my life. That is not a good person. Someone that scams you is not a good person. You wouldn't allow that for your mom. You wouldn't allow that for your dad. You wouldn't allow that for your brother. You wouldn't allow that for your best friend. Why are we just suddenly playing this cognitive dissonance argument? Well, I mean, he's a good guy. I mean, he said hi to me on Twitter a few times. What? It's mind-blowing. It's actually mind-blowing that that's considered a good person. But he had, like, financial troubles. Here's the kicker. I don't give a flying fuck. All of us have financial troubles. None of us scam people. Are some of you really that retarded? You're literally that stupid. I swear, my IQ must be in 400 range right now. Just saying. Okay, that's a going a little too crazy. But this whole Jimmy Reyes situation. Yeah, he did have some health problems. That fucking sucks. You know what? So do we. All of us have health problems. All of us do. You know what's crazy with us? We also don't scam people. We also don't go and rob banks if we're starving. We also don't go and assault people if we're doing bad. That's the argument that literal Democrats give when they're like, well, this poor black person, they had to do that because they were in a bad situation. That's the same argument that you guys say, not all of you, saying the general argument is, well, it was a good guy. He stole $30K. No, none of that's good. That was not a good person. Okay, if you think that, your brain is so beyond fucked, I can't help you. I literally can't help you at all. Like, what in the world? If I had a girlfriend, if I had a wife, my one that doesn't exist, that's basically my couch, And she's like, you know what? I'm gonna go cheat on you, and I'm gonna take all your money. And like, you know, I know we had some good sex a few times, but hey, it's all good. Fist bump, bro. She's like, no. Like, no, you're not a good person. I'm sorry. Someone that scams people out of $32,000 is not a good person. That's literally the most triggering, cringe thing I've ever heard someone bring up, honestly. So speaking of Rob Hunter, I've seen his Twitter account a few times. I have. I don't think we've personally interacted. I don't think we have. But I just don't remember. I'm so popular, guys. I interact with a lot of people, honestly. But like, I truly don't remember, honestly. But it doesn't matter. This person is not a good person because he stole $30,000. It's not a good person. Okay. So this was a tweet that Student of God had put out, and I want to go and check the Indiegogo campaign because I want to show you guys that there's some really funky shit going on here. So the headline went like this: another failed CG campaign, CG King Rob mismanaged time and resources over 30K projects. So this is what he said, and I want to show you guys other shit that happened with this, okay? Keep in mind, let's go through this. Saving the Death Raider comic. There's no saving. This is never coming out. Death Raider campaign was such a financial disaster. I pissed away my life savings and 3 years of my life. I could have been doing anything else. Cool story. Where's the book? No one can. Like, this is already like, wow. All right, it's already starting out pretty bad. Crowdfunding is nearly dead. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the thing you would say when you kind of, you know, scanned a bunch of people, obviously. My peers' campaign totals drop with every new release. Yeah, this happens with comic books. That's not just a thing exclusive to crowdfunding either. I have left comic books for good and now have a very low-paying job in manufacturing. So he's leaving comic books after he ran away with all this money. And keep in mind, this person is still bad with money because he still claims in this update that he still has financial problems. So he has $30,000 minus taxes. So let's just say it's $22K, just to bull ballpark there. And this still didn't fix your financial problems. Also, you know what's crazy? You could have just fulfilled the book and then use whatever left over for yourself. Because whatever's left over is for you.
That's the art done?
Oh God, you don't even know. It's crazy.
No, like how far is the book done?
We'll get to that in just a moment.
Okay.
Which is still higher than was my livelihood crowdfunding, which was below the poverty line. I'll keep in mind this. Nobody to make a living in comic books, to be like the Mark Millers of the world, to do this full time, you have to. It's like I don't know. Warren said a long time ago, you would have to be in like the top like 2, 3, max 5%. Like living off of 30K years, first of all, stupid as hell. Whoever told you to do that is stupid. When people give you this money, it is to make the book. It is not to finance your lifestyle. But artists will go, but I want to do art for my job. Cool. I want to be a Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
We can all live in fantasy la la land. Get a damn job. No, literally, I'm being serious. Literally, get a fucking job. Go work at anywhere. I literally don't care. You will not be doing this for a full-time gig. Stop living in fantasy la la land. People, Marvel and DC creators you've idolized your entire life can't do this for a full-time job, and you think you can butt fuck random nobody.
Yeah, there's full-time Marvel artists that still have day jobs.
Legends.
Yeah, they still have day jobs. Like, yeah. Well, it shows a real lack of understanding of the business side of it, and also understanding fundamentally what crowdfunding is. So yeah, it's it was. If it's true that what he's thinking says on here is what he was thinking, then that was very naive of the whole of what's going on with the crowdfunding, and also naive to do it where like to think that you could live off of so little, well, Mike just said in there in the comments.
Mike, you're part of the top 5%.
He's doing it full time. Well, yeah, because he's consistently putting out a book, and those books are making.
But there's another caveat on there too. Before Mike ever did this, he was a truck driver.
Well, yeah, but he's living off of it now.
Now he can do it. Yeah, but I'm saying, like, guys, legends you guys know have day jobs. Peter David, rest in peace, who just passed away about a month ago. As you guys consider him one of the most legendary writers in the industry, yeah, he was screwed.
Yeah.
So the notion that a random person could just do this is ridiculous in itself. But it's not just this first paragraph. This is where my brain almost fell apart reading this, which is this.
Yeah, this is the
why should you care?
Part.
Oh, that's the most gaslighting bullshit right there, is that sentence. Why should you care? Oh, I just gave you fucking my money. Yeah. What? Why should you care? What do you mean, why shouldn't I care? I just gave you my hard-earned money, and now I just get no... Help me, please. Help me, please. Oh, my God. The point of crowdfunding, in theory, is it covers my bills while I work and promote the project. No, it is not. That is not true. Whoever told you that,
completely not true.
The money for the book is to cover the book, not your lifestyle. Because when you launch a crowdfunder, that is to help you make the product, or the whole pre-ordering thing, as Warren talked about, right? They never gave you money. Okay, if that's true, let's just hypothetically say that's true, and it's not. Have someone launch a campaign and it just says fund my lifestyle to help me make this book. You see how many backers you get, which is you're gonna get the amount of influence my dad had in my life.
You start a Patreon if you want to try to make enough money, and that's really hard to do. Yeah, it was that whole thing is like like I said, it shows a lack of knowing the business. And I'm a small fry. Like, I am unknown comic book creator who's terrible at marketing.
Mean? Your art's better than Jim Lee's.
Well, I'm unknown, but I know better, and I know enough about business to realize that when you're doing a crowdfund, if it takes 50% of whatever you make on the book to make and fulfill that book. Well, if you make 30,000, well, then that means 15 grand is done. That's going over to where the creation of the book. Now I have 15 grand left. If you don't want to live off of 15 grand for the rest of the year and not even put that into your next book, well, then you better be producing another book, because you need to make another 30 grand or 40 grand.
The other thing I wanted to add to your point, I want to ask your point really quickly. There are people like Warren, like Mugen Lord, like Vaughn Coleman. There's Mike and Mindy Wheeler as well. I know Mike and Mindy have a lot of drama to go on with them, but I can give them fairness. The point of this, they do get their books done all the time, which is all that matters in life. There's a bunch of people that make less money than what he would make on a campaign and get it done. Keep on what I just told you. There's people that make what John's long box would make on a book, like 7,000, which is totally fine. Yeah. It's fine. Because people put too much emphasis on numbers. It's like, you getting any of thousands of dollars of this is fine anyway. But nevertheless, there's people like John's long box, Vaughn, Lunchbox Warren, Mugen Lord, a bunch of people that make way less money and fulfill. Don't they have day jobs? Don't they have hard lives? Don't they have money issues? Don't they have health problems? They don't tell us. Because no one gives a fuck. They just get this shit done. See what I just mentioned? There's people that make literally less money. I'll show you right now how much money this fucking scam artist made. I know people that Mugen Lord literally only made 6,000 on his first campaign, and it's done. He fulfilled it. What's the excuse? There's literally no excuse. This is all bullshit. This never happened. It was my savings and freelance work that carried Death Raider through the campaign. I highly doubt that. I literally highly doubt that, honestly. Yet, I still want to deliver to the few fans that support this major project. That's all. Oh my God, this is such bullshit. In this sentence right here, you just said, why should you care? Why should you care? Didn't matter. Where does that leave the book? Either I come to some sort of compromise with my debtors and the book ships in fall of 2025, or it's bankruptcy and the printing and shipping funds are confiscated. I don't believe any of that's true. I think all the money is gone.
So he still has the money. He still has the money to print and ship the book, but for some reason, it sounds like the book is done, but for some reason, because he has debtors, the book won't ship. I don't understand.
He launched a campaign knowing he had financial troubles, and this couldn't bail him out, because I can guarantee you he used this money for some. He probably used it on hookers, blow. I don't know what this person used money on. Sure didn't use it on his fucking finances. Imagine having $30,000 gifted to you and you still are not in a good shape. What are you spending your money on then?
Yeah, I don't understand. Like how far is the book along? It sounds like the book is done. Yeah. Like,
let's look at this.
Yeah.
So
what's going on here?
This was the update. Okay, so I want to keep in mind this is the update we got that we just read. Okay, so this is where the disingenuousness comes in, where I don't believe anything this person is saying. So this was an update, January 21st, 2025, 3 p.m. PST, says Death Raider #1 has gone to the printer.
Okay. So
keep that in mind. This is the next one. Last update from the printer. This update was made April 1st, 2025. Okay. So this is the thing right here, because he said right here, it's going to the printer. I upload the files and blah, 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 blah. And then this one basically says, unfortunately, there's been no update. I requested an update.
And that's 2 months later.
2 months later. Keep in mind, the printing thing, I may give him a leeway on, because you can have an issue with them. That's totally fine. But what I draw problems with is the fact that he had convinced people it's going to the printer, and then 3 months later said it's not getting done. That's my confusional part. You had people convinced it's going to the printer, but then you said there's no more updates from the printer. What do you mean you haven't gotten an update from the printer? They haven't given you any updates at all? That's really confusing. Keep in mind, that was from January 21st to April. So between February, the last week of January, all of February, all of March, and most of April, and just the starting of April, they gave you no updates at all. I just don't believe that. I literally don't believe that. I'm sorry, I don't. Then another thing down here, when you look, it says, after the holidays, I want to thank you for joining me. Issue 1 was completed. Little poor timing, blah, 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 blah. And then right here it says, closeout was a success. Rob, you just told us a second ago that this failed, but it was a success. You see where I'm getting confused here? How this just sounds like a lot of bullshit. Too many conflicting things happening at the campaign was closed. A superstar designer buddy is taking a swing at trading cards, blah, 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 blah. Then we're off to the printer. And then he talks about, poor timing and blah, 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 and all that stuff, and holiday season. But it's gone to the printer. But he also claimed the campaign was a success, and now he's claiming the campaign failed.
Well, yeah, so he sent the books off to the printer. So that means, okay, so if you scroll down just a little bit and look on the side there, you're on your perks there.
Oh, right here. Yep.
Okay, so the death. So he has. I want to see how many variant covers and stuff that he has. So that's go up a little bit so we can see the whole list.
My bad.
Yeah, right there. So we got Volume 1, Cover A, Cover B, Raider Midnight, Anna Cover 1, the cover pencils cover, inked cover. Booth, post. So he's got So it sounds like Okay, so it sounds like if he did send it off to the printer, so he's having 7 books printed. There's 700 and some backers. So it's probably gonna be. It's a huge print run of over 1,000 books, most likely, because I have to see how it's spread out amongst the minimum prints, what printer he's using, blah blah blah. But then it's like, yeah, he's just like, where are the books then? Are they being held up by the printer? Like he makes it sound like someone has the books, and until he pays money to them, then he can't get them back. Like where? Why can't he fulfill his campaign? Why is bankruptcy going to take the shipping funds and the printing funds? You should have technically already spent the printing funds, because printers don't print books until you pay them. So I don't. It doesn't make any sense. But what did Mike say here?
Mike says rewards are not guaranteed. That is true.
True.
But that's the thing is, backers. I'm not saying you're saying this, but I know customers don't want to hear my shit's not guaranteed. They don't that's just, I wouldn't get your book funded. But however, publicly stating that he knowingly used the money for other purposes now incriminates him for fraud, allegedly, because I speak in those terms. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, that is actually true. You can't actually publicly admit that you basically stole $32,000.
Yeah. Well, and the rewards aren't guaranteed, but that's essentially legal jargon or legal speak to cover Indiegogos and Kickstarter's ass. So then they're like, this rewards are not guaranteed, and if they don't happen, it's not my fault.
Patrick right here says, what does this mean? You'll not be producing the book? Thought it was on the way to the printer. I'd rather have my money back than it getting forfeit to bankruptcy court. So either bank me or refund. Yeah, right. This is Chris Hunter says, Rob, do something with my money. spent to back this campaign was solely for funding and making this book and nothing else. Either send the books to the printer and get them into our hands, or send out the PDFs of the books to people that actually paid. No book and then this BS update. Yeah, I don't know. This sounds too fishy, man.
Well, the update doesn't make any sense.
And this person has already stated in this update, if we're to believe this, it's already crazy gaslighting bullshit, that this person's bad with money. This person thought they could live off this money, then admitted something was going to a printer, 2-month gap, no updates, and then after that last update, it's revealed that it's not going to happen. But then said, why should you care? But then where does that leave the book? And then basically told you, hey, I'm still bad with money, and I'm going into bankruptcy. Does any of that sound not suspicious at all to you guys? But come on. He's a good guy. He said hi to me on Twitter. He's a great guy, obviously. You guys are fucking retarded as hell. Holy fucking shit. Why do I have to live in this planet?
He's a great guy who's apparently extremely business illiterate and could be a liar because his update doesn't make any sense. It's like somewhere along the lines you're lying and it's not playing out way it's supposed to.
Remember what Eric July had said? A lot of these creators don't know anything about business. Another thing people attacked him for, which another thing I want to bring up, which was when Eric July said a lot of the people in the space don't understand business. They don't, because these people were like doing art or writing for Marvel or DC or whatever, right? That doesn't mean you knew how to ship a book, print a book. Doesn't mean you were an editor. You had those jobs taken care of because you were on a team and you were in a job atmosphere where other jobs are taken care of by other people, right?
Yeah.
So that didn't mean you know how to run a business. You just knew how to do good art that had other key factors into it, like you had letterers and all that other stuff. So when Eric July had mentioned a lot of these guys are not business savvy, they don't know what they're doing. They don't.
I'll be the first to admit that the reason why I have 3 issues of my comic book essentially done, working on the 4th. I have a 17-page one-shot, and I have a submission into an anthology coming up, and barely anyone knows who I am. It's because I am shit at marketing. And the problem is these guys they get into this stuff and they don't have, they get so mind clouded by the whole thing where it's like, I'm going to live off this because I have to live off this to feel like I'm a real artist. It's like, listen, I work a full-time job to pay my bills, and I work more hours working on my comic book. I don't go outside. I don't have a social life except for when I come on here to talk to you. When I'm not doing that, I'm drawing a coffee cup and cigarette fighting robots.
And that's how it should be.
I put it in, and so does that mean if someone thinks that I'm less of a comic book creator because I have to pull a full-time job? I don't really give a shit because I'm just learning and getting better and making comic books. Now, if I can market myself better, if I had a website, if I could consistently stream and build up an audience, I might be able to get to the point where I can live off of it too. But it's going to take a shit ton of work because you have to be consistent. The reason why the Wheelers are living off of it is because they put out a book that makes them 50 G's plus, and they're doing it once a month, and they're consistent. And they have an audience, and they market to that audience, and they're selling the book, and they're making enough money to live. That is a huge success, and you got to respect that. Everything else, like you mentioned before, the drama stuff, that doesn't matter. They're set out and they're doing it. That's something that I would like to be able to do, but I got to work a full-time job until I can do it because I have to learn how to get people to realize who the hell I am. One of these days, I'm getting better at it because I'm trying to learn it, but these guys come into this stuff, and especially with early CGers, they had a huge pool of fan base. So you had creators who have never made a comic book before, hiring artists who have never done interiors, and they're doing $30,000 to $100,000 campaigns, and that's a huge amount of responsibility, and you can get overwhelmed quick as shit.
Yeah, and this is the thing that a lot of these artists writers fail to understand. These not just Marvel and DC comic book pros from like CG, just a lot of them, they just don't get it. Keep in mind, you weren't supposed to get it. You're just there to do a job and you just leave. Keep in mind, I agree the pay should be way higher than it is, but that's a story for another day. But it's one of those things where, you know, a lot of these people just think they can do this and they can't. Hey, I'll be the first to admit to you, I can't do this. I would never launch a campaign. I couldn't do it. But if I gave my money to you and you said I'm going to get a product, I don't want to hear that. I know you guys aren't saying this, but no customer wants to hear, hey, I give you money and I may or may not get a product. No one wants to hear that. You will never have a backer ever if you go off leading that. Because keep in mind, the other thing I want to mention here is like when people get super offended at shit, it's probably because they're either doing it or they know that, you know, they need to step your game up. Like the most like we use Kobe Bryant. You know, how you would go in and practice and practice and practice and all his life was just basketball. Yeah. To really be successful at this, your life would have to be just that thing to even have a chance at being in that top 5% we talked about. Kobe Bryant did it. Michael Jordan did it. They nonstop played basketball. Kobe would dribble a basketball without it being there in his hands. That's how much he cared about basketball. But these people want to be like, but I'm tired. And what about my kids? I don't give a flying
7 days a week, 24/7, and you make it happen.
If you're not cut out for it, you can get the fuck out because someone will replace. Come on, you stop. Someone's going to replace you anyway. You're going to get replaced.
There's plenty of people who are willing to do it. There was a post talking about that Tyler Carpenter added onto it. It was essentially, you know, like it's going to take something about the grind of the work of it, and a lot of you were mentioning it's like, I started out like 8 years ago, and I had a group of like 15 people, and we were all jazzed about making comics, and I'm the only one left. It's like this is not an easy business. It will break your heart. It will break you down, and you have to, if you want to be good at it, you have to sacrifice. And you have to work at it every single day, and you have to be honest with yourself.
That's the sad part is no one wants to hear that sob story. Not what you just said, but like no one wants to hear a sob story about why you couldn't get things done. Also, this comment right here is what you mentioned earlier, which is, so rereading it, it sounds like from the last line of this update that shipping and printing funds are still out there. If there is the thought it could be confiscated, and also that bankruptcy hasn't been declared yet. So why can't this just be printed and shipped out yet? You know why? You know why, James? He spent the money. There is no money. It's gone. To be honest, it's probably just gone. Person just probably. I just shown you this person has been lying for a bunch of these past 2 months. I may be oversimplifying it, but if the money is still there and it's not taken yet, why wait for it to be taken? Why not use it as intended? Or is the money not there? I think at this point, I'm feeling less and less sympathetic and just want what I paid for or a refund that I can use on another creator. Why should I only get a PDF when I paid for more? Yeah, keep in mind, there's people here that backed physical books. So someone had mentioned in one of these updates in the comments, but Rob, couldn't you just just give someone a PDF? But I didn't pay for that. Keep in mind, let's just say you wanted a PDF. Only 2 people claimed those. Nobody went into this going like, man, I want a digital comic book.
Yeah.
I'm not saying digital is bad. Digital has its uses, but people came here for a physical back book. So to give them it's such a disgusting disservice to someone giving them a digital book when I want a physical one. I won't even read your digital shit. Fuck, take a digital shit, shove it right up your ass. That's what I would say. This is embarrassing. You should be ashamed. Good Lord. There's so many here. Oh, everyone's so mad. I don't understand it at all. So I don't understand this post at all. You were given $32K by customers to fund this book. The book was supposedly finished and sent to the printer in January. Where is the book? It's June, and now you're claiming bankruptcy. Where is the book? Why are you poor? The money is shit. Why are you poor? Okay. The money we sent you was to produce the book, not to live for 3 years, carefree. Where is the book? You didn't make 6 figures. That's a you problem, not an us problem. Where's the book? See, that's all that matters. Where's the book? That's all that matters.
That's all it is.
And keep in mind, I don't care about getting a digital copy. None of you people on here watching this video, because I know you will. I know it's got a lot of views because I'm a fucking genius at getting views on videos. None of you deserve a digital book. He promised you a physical book. Don't let him. Don't sucker into that. I know some people in here were like, but Rob, could you at least just send them a digital copy? I don't fucking take that shit and shove it up your ass. Who the fuck wants that garbage? No one wants that shit.
And plus too, it's like your last update was that it's at the printers. So then that means like.
So was this person lying then, or is he lying now? Because I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Like you say you're speaking out both ends of your mouth. It's at the printers. I can't fulfill the book. The money's gone because I tried to live off of it. If I file bankruptcy, the money's going to be confiscated. So it's like, what's going on, dude? This is just all over the place. And I think if you were just honest, it would be a lot better than if you were than all of this like smoke and mirrors bullshit. Because it's like no one's going to go back to you and get your book again. And if they do, you're not going to be making 30,000 in your next campaign.
And this is the thing. This is the ultimate point I wanted to make to tie this all in. All this does is just hurt crowdfunding. Anyone that says this doesn't is literally just retarded on every single level.
Because people, if that was their first crowdfunding,
what if that was their first time? If that was their first time, they're never. When they see they're going to back someone else's skin, they're not. That's their coping mechanism there. Yeah, they're not speaking in the right state of mind. None of those people are going to back anyone else, and that's just $32,000 worth of dollars. Not given to someone that actually puts out, just gone because this fucking lying piece of human shit. But don't worry, guys. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. Don't worry. The good guy that stole $32,000. Fuck me, right? I need that clip from Superbad where Jonah Hill's like, just, fuck me, right? Yeah. Just fuck me, right? Good guy, my ass. Shut the God, I hate you people so much. But yeah, just want to get Lunchbox Foreign's closing thoughts on this Rob Hunter situation. And keep in mind, I will say this. EVS did promote this guy. He did. He told this is someone you need to back. Just pointing it out there. But keep in mind, even though I don't like EVS at all, this is Rob's fault.
Yeah,
this is all Rob's. Rob. Yeah. EVS, he did. He promoted this guy. He did. But then again, why would EVS's word mean anything at this point?
Well, anyone saying the outside knows that his word really doesn't mean shit.
Well, you can't deny that him being on there on CG King's streams didn't lift the book up to where it could have been if he didn't have that influence. But it's one of these things
it's his influence and it's being CG King helped to get to 30,000.
Yeah.
And I think this was his first book, wasn't it?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is his first campaign book. It did it for 30,000.
Someone that did work for the mainstream. He did work on Batman, Justice League, and other stuff too, because that's in his actual story.
Yeah. So he was a pro artist, and he just didn't understand.
Bring it up. Someone goes, you didn't say allegedly. I'm not making this up. He literally did. He worked Justice League, Batman, Iron Man, blah, blah, blah. I remember this guy's name. I've seen it on things that when I pass through the internet. I know I have. But it's just one of these things of like,
he was probably being a CG King and being a pro. He was probably expecting like $500,000, $800,000. Did 30, and then realized that he's not going to be able to live off of it. I mean, it's either like that's a thing too. Like, okay, looking at this logically, we all know what it takes for us to live. Mm-hmm. He does this campaign. He's probably be told in the background by the other CG Kings and everyone else. It's like, hey, we'll get you pumped up. You're a pro. This book will sell, and you'll be doing fine. So then he stops everything, does the campaign, and only makes 30,000. Now, and then he realizes very quickly to fulfill everything, most of that 30,000 is going to be eaten up, and what's left of the 30,000 is not going to be enough to live off of for probably even 2 months if he really skimped. So now it's like, okay, what I got to fulfill this book. I've got to do fulfill 700 of them. I've got to draw this darn thing now. And now I've got to draw it knowing that I can't make any more money until I get done. And also on top of that, I'm working now and it's not paying all my bills. So now I've got to take commissions. Now I've got to do other stuff. And that takes away time off the book. It's a spiraling roller coaster of having these inflated expectations. And then he gets into the situation and then all of the dreams get shattered because he realizes very quickly the reality of what it costs to live off this, how much on a combo you have to make to get actually in your pocket money. Indiegogo takes its chunk. And then taxes are taken out of it, and then he has to fulfill the campaign, and then what's left over is what you live off of, and then you're not going to make any more.
The fact that he thought he could live off 32K. Keep in mind, guys, 32K in like California is poverty.
Well, I don't think he thought. I bet you he thought it was going to be $200,000 or $300,000.
I think
he thought
was just trying to make this much money to get himself out of debt. Let's just say, I do believe that one thing. I believe he does have some financial troubles. He tried to use this to get out of it, and then he was going to leave after it got him out of financial trouble.
I honestly, you don't know how much you're going to make when you go into it.
True.
So I think he was expecting six figures. I think he was expecting anywhere from $100,000 to $500,000. I think he was told that by the other CG Kings and probably back rooms and group chats. And I think that when it didn't happen, he was like, "Oh shit! Now I got to figure out how to pay bills. I got to make this damn book." Because he probably didn't have the thing drawn first.
He highlighted in his update, the one thing I do kind of agree with was he said his peers' campaign totals have been going down and down. Yes. That's true.
That's true.
So if a lot of these guys are doing this as a full-time gig and they've noticed the numbers are going down and down and down, that is pretty concerning.
Yeah.
But I don't like the other guys that much, but they do have a consistent base of an audience big enough to sustain them. But outside of like John, Ethan, and Shane, the other guys, and like Mike and Graham Nolan and like Mike Barron, if he considers himself CG, literally outside of those guys, and like that Andy guy, that one short fucker. Outside of those people I just mentioned, those five guys, these other guys don't have that.
Wait, I mean, the amount of money you need to make to live off of just crowdfunding is, you're talking about, if depending on what you need to survive for a year. Well, let's say if you need $50,000 a year, and that's living poverty level in most states, I believe, in the country, then you're going to have to make $100K Kickstarter to get that to $50,000, or you're going to have multiple Kickstarters in 1 year where the total gets to your goal of $50,000. And that's a lot of work. You're going to have to be going to cons. You're going to have to be selling books. Your print runs, there'll be stuff left over after you fulfill. You're going to have to try to sell those at cons. Cons cost money to go to. So you're constantly spending money to try to make some money on this stuff. And also, if you have a family, you're trying to raise them off of it if the spouse isn't working or along those lines. So you need to realistically look at, okay, well, how much does it cost me to live? And then when you look at that, okay, well, what do I need to do to make that? And you realize very quickly that living off of living off of crowdfunding is going to take you a lot of work and a lot of buildup. You mentioned John Longbox's campaign did $7,000. That's a great campaign. I would love to do a $7,000 campaign. I couldn't live off of it, but good for him to bring enough money or people in there to do that. It's like, but to have that, to use that as an excuse, is like, I expected to live off of this, and since I didn't make enough money,
automatically that confirms it as a scam, right?
Yeah, I didn't make enough money.
People gave you money for the book. Yeah. That's what they gave you money for. When he straight up said, I thought I could use this money to live off of it as I promote the campaign. Automatically, that's a scam.
Yeah, that's not crowdfunding theory. Like, nowhere in crowdfunding have I ever heard anyone be like, the theory of this is to make enough money so I can survive to make the book. No, the point of crowdfunding is to get pre-orders and enough pre-orders to make your product. That's what it's for. If I sell a fancy coffee cup and I need $50,000 to get enough print or enough made to start my business, then I go on to Kickstarter, and hopefully I get enough people pre-ordering it. I get the prints done, or the coffee cups, the holders done, and then I send it to my customers. It's a pre-order system. All of this other bullshit about a support, blah, blah. No, they make GoFundMe and Patreons for support. Kickstarter and
let's wrap it up. If you needed money for whatever, open a Go. What's the new one called? Give, Send, Go. There's GoFundMe and all that stuff. Yeah.
Start a Patreon and show that, and start trying to make a monthly. Start a fucking OnlyFans. Go get a job.
God forbid getting a job.
If you need to get a job to survive and make the book, then go do it until you get enough of an audience build up that you could survive off of it. But just don't expect your first time out of the gate to be able to make enough money, and then to be naive enough to think that that you could realistically be consistent enough to do it. It's the whole thing. It's like it's going to take you 3 years to finish. Did it take him 3 years to finish the book? Is that what
thing is,
happened?
We don't even know if the whole thing is finished. We don't even know. I mean, he said it went to the printer, but
it was 3 years to get to the printer. Is that
this launched?
Like, when did it launch?
Geez, let me see. Fucking hell! Did it? Okay, so it launched April 16th, 2023.
Yeah, so it was. Let's see here. It launched then. And then he did this year. So it's like 2 years to get the book to the printer. So
even that's already.
And it was what, a 64-page book? Is that what I saw?
Let's see, 8 foil versions. Let's see down here. Death Raider, that's digital. Death Raider PDFs, bunch of PDFs. Good lord, we're gonna be on a fucking Diddy list.
Yeah, but anyways, you'd probably have to go to Story to find that out. But it's
okay.
Not
oh, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's 72 pages.
So 72 full color pages. So he has to draw 72 pages, ink them, and then fit them to the colorists. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. The update doesn't help, and it's starting to look like either he's super naive to business, or he just. I think, to me personally, I think he was expecting 300. He was expecting 6 figures, and he did 5 figures instead, and then now he has to try to figure out how to make this work and also get the book done while doing commissions and everything else. So that's stretched out, because like if you need that $50,000 to live off of, he would have to do probably like 6 $30,000 campaigns in a year in order to put in his pocket $50,000. So it's just, the whole thing, it doesn't do crowdfunding any good. And not being honest, like, you could be a year late, even 2 years late, and if you refund those who asked for it, you constantly update, and your purchasers respect either the refund or they respect the reasons why, and then they choose to back you again, that can happen. I have seen it happen. I've seen people who were almost a year late on books because the shit happened, but they were up on all their refunds. They were up on all their updates, and the backers that stayed around were happy and got their book. So it can't happen.
I'll add as a caveat, which is it happens. We had a person on that had that, Ronan Joe. So he was technically late, but he had a lot of life shit that ended up happening to him. Like, his dad passed away. He had health scares with his kids. See, those things, I think people will be forgiving, even though, I want to reiterate what I said earlier. If you're going to, but keep in mind, Ronan or Joe M. Santek is more of a public face, and he's always streaming. He's always here. He says if he can do it quicker, he would. Keep in mind, you could tell by just how he carries himself, he wasn't going to just run away.
Yeah.
He made way more money than Rob did. Keep in mind, Joe M. Santek, not a Marvel DC comic book pro. He made like $80,000 doing Reaper Destroyer. It was late. He did apologize for being late, and I told Joe this. Being late is a problem, but he got it all delivered. People got their books. He didn't run away, and he said for the next campaign he wants to make sure it goes faster. That's good. That's called people improvement. But
being
Joe didn't scam people. He didn't just. What's different between that? I would rather have someone. I don't like being late. I don't like when people are late. I'd rather someone be late than you scam them.
Yeah.
If you're late, you know what? God forbid. Horrible. But if you scam people, that's a little different. That's a whole different ballgame you're talking about there. Like, holy fuck. This person says, at this point, send a PDF. Yeah, people just hated this, honestly. Wow, Rob, sorry to hear this. Looking forward to the... Shut up. Just fuck off. People are pathetic, honestly, here. But what else do we have to go over with here? Oh, well, there were so many. There were so many quote tweets. Oh, God. He said it here, too. Good old Rob said it here. Oh, God. Let's see. Let's go over some of these receipts. Oh, I love it. This makes me... I want to backflip in my chair, honestly. Old Rob Hunter clip. Rob, to pay the mortgage. Rob, this is the bare minimum just to pay the bills. Nobody had a problem with what he was saying. It's crazy. This was me, obviously, Top G makes the post. Another person here, Dan Lawless, the biggest fucking loser, little crybaby, saying the same shit. Says, so this is the main part. This is the stuff that Rob was talking about in this update. Great art takes time. No, it doesn't. Do you want to know how I know that? Marvel and DC, the companies you idolized growing up as a kid, all these legends, made books on time with their editor teams. They created classic stories that you know and love, dear to your heart, on time. That art didn't take time. Oh, I have to take time with my art. No, you should.
Wow, this is delusional as hell.
Right. Yeah. I'll be reading this for just a moment. I have to sign into my account really quickly. So just go over this, okay?
Okay, yeah. So right here we got Dan Lowell saying Yellow Flash's book is coming out this Friday. There's no way that I can support him because he does not support crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is the new fantastic way that artists can receive the funding they need to create their greatest work. Great art takes time and sometimes years. But to do that, you need money up front that you can live off of while you're creating your absolute best. Flash doesn't believe in that. He finds it lazy and disrespectful. I could possibly disagree more. Flash has no idea or understanding of what it takes to create an outstanding comic book story. That is the biggest pile of just... See,
this first part right here is already stupid. Yellow Flash doesn't support crowdfunding. No, he got mad at people being late on their books and people that just didn't take it seriously. And how would he not support? Ripascend literally is a crowdfunding camp.
He's crowdfunding it right now. He's just doing it on Rippaverse and not Indiegogo.
People like this are. And I had to block this person because I can't have this level of retardation on my time.
Well, that's just massive. Like that's like talking to the cult member, like pulling one of the cult members off.
But this last part you read, where it was, but to do that, you need money up front that you can live off of. No, why you. Oh my God, that's not why you open a crowdfunding campaign. If you need money to live off of, here's things. Get a job. Stop being fucking lazy. You're not going to be a famous artist. I'm just letting the reality be known here. You're going to be you could be a cool, decently... It's like when you have a local band. You'll be the local guy that's good at art, okay?
Yeah,
that's the level you're going to reach. You're not reaching Jim Lee's. You people think you're going to reach Jim Lee's status.
You might make it in the local paper holding your comic book.
You might be known as the guy that is known in the cons. That's probably where you're peaking at. You'll be known as the guy that travels to cons and sells your book. If you need to live off, you need a job to live off of. You guys that think you can live off your art, it's just stupid. Literally, go get a fucking job. But like, I want to draw. I don't care what you want to do. Like I said before, I want to be a fucking Super Saiyan. I want to go Super Saiyan 3. Maybe I tap into Ultra Instinct. Do you know? But hey, we all don't live in Lulu, like La La delusional land. You know?
Unless I win Powerball, it's gonna be a long time, and it might never happen. I would love to be able to draw every day. I would be pumping out issue 4 easily in a month if I could draw every day, but that's just not a reality right now. And it just because it's not a reality, I shouldn't be like, you shouldn't be like lashing out at the universe, and you also should be like, this post has so much levels of cope. It almost makes me nauseating. Like
the whole body's gonna explode. That means you're scamming people out of their money and you're tricking them to invest into you for something that isn't there. Some would call that a pyramid scheme.
Here's a question for this jerk off here is that, okay, but then why didn't you tell me that up front? If it takes you 3 years to create a masterpiece, and that's fine. Okay, it does. Great. Well, then tell me that up front. Don't give me an arbitrary date and then take 5 years to do the book. And then when I'm like, oh, hey, 5 years ago, you were supposed to deliver me a book, and I haven't got it yet. So that's kind of fucked up. Instead of saying, hey, I'm working on it or whatever along those lines, then you just gaslight me and try to tell me that I'm some kind of asshole because
it's like that Wizard of Oz thing. Hey, don't pay attention to the man over here. He's talking about Yellow Flash, and it's like, who gives a fuck what Yellow Flash? No offense, I don't mind him, but like, who gives a fuck what Yellow Flash does? Why are you taking people's money to live off of instead of just doing the fulfillment of your fucking book?
Why are you simping for late EVS And just because that's the problem with this whole CG, and you even have the Ripperverse fans doing this too, is these tribes, is that they take these really my leader can't do no wrong stances, and then they play this whole fucking game where it's like, okay, how do I make EVS being late on multiple projects and 5 years late on Rainbow Brute? How do I put a positive spin on this? Well, it's because we're waiting for quality. It's like, well, no, if
the books that they're not going to ever read, the
quality. I don't think Rainbow Brute's ever coming out.
Just like my dad in my life, it's never going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think Rainbow Brute's ever coming out. And I actually got a little dogpiled by a couple CGers because I was just like, you guys are never going to see Rainbow Brute. I'm sorry, but I hope you do, but you're not going to ever see that book. And it's like, it's just, it just drives me nuts, because it's like, if it takes you 5 years to do a book, then just fucking tell me at the beginning. Don't lie to me. And then also on top of that, don't gaslight me and get upset when I'm like, hey, you told me 2 years, it's taking you 5. And now that when I ask about it, you treat me like I'm an asshole. Like, fuck you. Like Mike S. Miller. I spent money on his Monster Hunt book, and he flat out hasn't. It's like almost 3 years late, going on probably 4 here soon, and he has not fulfilled. And when you try talking about it, he just keeps lying. He never updates. And it's just like, fuck off. I don't even want the book anymore. Keep the money, because obviously it was important enough to see. It was obviously important enough to you to scam the shit out of me. And now you're not even fucking listening. Go away, dog. Now you're not even listening to me. And it's like, then you want to treat me like I'm an asshole when I'm asking where my money is. Yeah, fuck off. The whole thing it drives me absolutely nuts, and it makes the rest of us look bad. And it's so fucking stupid. Like, this guy right here is just like, pull your head out of EVS's ass.
Damn, that's impossible, because that shit. But it's crazy how he says Flash doesn't believe in it. Even let's just say that's true. Why the fuck does that matter to you?
Yeah, who cares?
Or in this, he says he finds it lazy and disrespectful. Yeah, a lot of people find it lazy and disrespectful to be late on their books. Flash has no idea or understanding what it takes to create an outstanding comic story. Dan, you haven't created shit. I can go right now to whatever con in America and ask 10 people if they know you exist, and you wouldn't be a fly on the wall. Let's just say that. You don't know anything. Tyler says the point of, he was quote tweeting what Rob says, not what Tyler says, but he was quote tweeting what Rob said. The point of crowdfunding in theory is to cover my bills while I work and promote the project. Is the most retarded thing I've read this week.
Hell yes,
these people are so fucking lazy and disrespectful to customers with no time management skills. Yeah, I agree. All these people do is disrespect you guys. You guys just keep giving them money. Why do people who make less money than that piece of shit fill their campaigns with less money, update you constantly, deliver on time, but the people that do the complete opposite, like that fucking piece of shit person right there, he just gets to get all the money? I do find that unfair. I get it. Life's not fair. But I do find that pretty stupid that they get more money when they don't deliver you shit. Yeah. I don't get it. There's plenty of other people that do good. Fine. But no, they're not giving the money because my audience, while ComicsGate Sims will give money to any old retard who can't deliver a book instead of creators who have delivered great looking, well-written books in a timely manner. Yeah, but ComicsGate got mail. On-time books. Yeah, you know who also made on-time books that made you fans of comic books? Marvel and DC. The books came out on time. There are delays. Yeah. Keep in mind, when Marvel Comics or DC Comics announces a book is delayed, you know what's come out? First of all, the delay is not even really that long. And there's obviously cases where it is. But the book will still come out.
Yeah.
A few books, at minimum, a book is going to be delayed like 4 months. And it might even be because the people are lazy. There's actually logistical reasons why a book may have gotten late. So that's not based off the artists or the writers or the editors. That's actually a completely different side of the argument, obviously.
And so a lot of times now, Marvel usually has the entire arc done before they even
before they even give out solicitations for books coming up. They're about to be finished coming out, you know?
Yeah.
I have Derek says, I have so many thoughts about this. I've said some of them in other conversations. I just hope creators learn from this, and now they need to have sources of income other than their their campaign funds. I do agree with you. I agree with you. But the source of this should be making the book. That's what I would say. It shouldn't. The campaign funds should just be for the book, in my opinion. Now, if you have leftover money that was given to you, then use it on whatever you want. If the book's done and everyone's got their shit, you can use it on whatever you want. You could take it, shove it up your ass. You could take it and buy EVS new underwear. I don't care what you want to do with your life. As long as people get their
products, if you're a smart businessman, you just throw it back into the business.
Yeah.
Or business person. We want to be
fair. You know what I feel bad for? EVS's wife has to wash his dirty, stinking underwear. Dude, them shit must have shit marks and cum stains on them. Just imagine being EVS's bar of soap.
Always with the classy retorts by MSK.
I'm just pointing out EVS's bars of soap be looking black.
Disgusting. He's got that Sweetie soap.
What's this? Wasn't Rob Hunter one of the regulars that Throat Goat Van Skyver promoted and had on his streams regularly? What happened here? Interesting admission from Rob that CG campaign totals are dropping with every new release. Yeah, it's almost like he admitted the quiet part out loud that we all knew. Almost like Ethan gutted the movement. You could argue that. And if he did, I'd agree with you. Aaron Sparrow, I view the point of crowdfunding as the means to produce a book for the customer, not to finance my life. I've made nothing on Neil before Doomface. Every penny has gone into the book and to pay my collaborators. The eventual goal is to build this property to a point where it is profitable for me, but it's a long-term play. Taking care of my crew and my customers will always be priority. Yeah, actually doing customer service. People, I mean, Mindy right here said this. Mine. The heck? The fuck went on with this post? Sorry about that. Jesus Christ. What the hell? Hold on. 1 sec. I'm over here dying on my wife. Whatever you crowdfund, the money you make is supposed to be solely invested in the development of that project alone, not paying your bills. What a fucking idiot. I agree. Yep. Man, this guy's getting lit the fuck up in here. Remember when Dan Lawless said that Eric July is attacking crowdfunding? Bullshit. CG is abusing and mismanaging crowdfunding. Yeah, I never understood this whole notion of Eric July criticized crowdfunding. And if he did, who cares? Let's just say he did. Even if we know he really didn't criticize the way that they're saying it was just disingenuous bullshit. Who cares if he did? Are you that big of a fucking pussy that someone just criticizing crowdfunding made you get that bent out of shape? What big of a bitch are you? These people claim to be conservatives.
Well, that's the marching order.
He criticized Indiegogo. Oh no, the company that allows you to open multiple campaigns and not fulfill them. Yeah, he criticized that. Oh, the horror. Now I must get butt naked and show a metal rod up my ass. Like what? Good Lord. Good actual God. My brain is fried. My brain is so done.
Well, it's the reason why all of this animosity is here anyways is because Eric didn't go to Indiegogo and Eric didn't bring his audience into CG. When they had the little nasty breakup, he went and did his own Rippaverse thing. That's an entire amount of customers that are not going to Indiegogo, that are not experiencing Indiegogo, and they're not going over and getting any more Indiegogo books. And then the way CG constantly dogpiles on Eric July, they're not going to get any of the Rippaverse fans coming over and buying books unless they're buying, ComicsGaters buying the books in order to review and shit on them. But most of them probably pirate it anyways. But yeah, it's
also revealed on that John's Longbucks having a conversation he had with Liam Gray, which was
I tried to watch that.
Ever EFAP that? I couldn't live. I literally would spontaneously combust EFAPing that. But there was a main point that happened there where, you know how I had mentioned earlier in the video that these people don't read the books? They don't. Ethan's not Ethan. Oh my God. Liam Gray said that he loved Godlike. He said it was literally the word for word written for me. Couldn't name you a single character in the book. What was the thing that CG people kept asking Rippaverse customers? What's your favorite part of ISOM? Huh?
Yeah.
And people would tell them their favorite part, only for them to just act in cognitive dissonance to not understand it. I asked people, what do you like about these books. They'll never tell you.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite part of Rainbow Brute?
I think I've talked. These CG people, I argue. Some of these CG fans I argue with on Twitter. I've maybe encountered 3 people that have read Cyberfrog, and they proved they read it. They laid it. Okay, cool. That was like 3 people and like hundreds of them. That's terrible. Keep in mind, EVS mentioned a while ago. He knows this too. And he has first fallen with Eric July. People aren't reading the books. I agree with him. I know you can tell.
And it's probably a similar. Listen, the problem, the downside of creating audiences like Eric July and EVS have created is that they're not there for the comic books. They're there for the tribe. They're there because, we're standing against this or we're standing against that. And then pretty soon EVS or Eric July becomes their favorite. Like it's like in sports, like you love Tom Brady and there's a bunch of people who hate Tom Brady, but Tom Brady can do no wrong in your eyes, and you buy all the jerseys and you do all the stuff and along those lines. It's the same kind of mentality there. The problem with that is they're not buying your book because they want to read it. You're not building a reader base who's excited and has fan theories and are making videos about it, analyzing your characters, analyzing your story, because you're creating a crowd and an audience from non-comic book stuff, and you're selling them the comic book. Like EVS, it could be argued that EVS's legacy as the guy who did this major popular Green Lantern run and who was a very popular very popular comic professional artist is more known now for Trashcast than he is as an artist. So there's maybe not
he also more gets carried by Jeff Johns in that run too.
Yeah, but it's growing. It's essentially.
Oh, I know what you're saying now. Yeah, it's like with those OnlyFans girls. It's like what people say to those OnlyFans chicks, where it's like, and in 10 years, this is all you're going to be remembered for, is being an online whore. Right?
Like the people are buying the books because they support the creator. They don't support the books or even care about the books.
They don't care. The book couldn't even exist. You could sell them mugs and they'd buy it.
Yeah. They're happy to get it because they support the creator, and you're not creating stuff off of.
With arguments like, oh, well, I'm fine with it being late because it's going to be better quality. It's like, what? What told you that? Who convinced you that was the thing?
And it better be, because if it's not, like if Rainbow Brute comes out and it looks rushed, then after 5, by the time it comes out, if it does come out, I would imagine Being Kind would be 7 years, because if he's halfway through it in 5 years, I can imagine if he really worked hard on it, he can get the other half done in another 2 years. So let's say 7 years later, it better look like a damn Mona Lisa, because if it looks worse than like Cyberfrog 2, or it looks worse than this prior stuff or rushed or all those lines, it's going to be like, well, okay, why did I wait for so long for? If it doesn't come out beautiful, all of these arguments that they had about quality over time goes right out the window. So the longer it takes to do this, there's just more pressure. Like Rainbow Brute better be EVS's greatest piece of work. So
it's sad because we know this. No one's going to read it. No one's.
Few
people. Let's say hypothetically it did come out. Very few people would read it, and the very few people that did read it and review it, people would just watch their reviews and see about it than actually reading it themselves.
Yeah.
Or they would have forgotten they've even backed it. Also, another thing to bring up with what you had just said, which is people want to do the whole quality thing. Well, Eric July, one of his launching, things that he meant for the Ripperverse was, no, we're going to get shit done on time. You won't have to be waiting for books.
Yeah.
That instilled into the customers that their money is safe. When people give you that kind of money, they are hoping you are going to use it for good measures. Eric basically launched with, we're going to get our books done. We're going to get them done on time. Keep in mind, a business that gets stuff done on time, I don't know how you could ever criticize that. I get you can criticize Eric and the Ripperverse for a lot of things, but criticizing them for wanting to be on time and getting you your stuff you paid for is It's ridiculous. That's
Yeah, he's making enough money to keep his business going, and from what I can tell, it's growing on some level. I don't know what the fan counts are, but he's creating more books, more series, ISOM 3, Yara 2, Alpha Core. There's going to be an ongoing Horseman after now, I guess. So he is producing now. When you produce, stuff is going to get better because you get better at it, especially if you have a passion for it. If you look at my first issue to the work that I'm doing now on my fourth, I've grown exponentially as an artist. So you would expect stuff start getting better, and he's people working. But if he's paying the bills with it, then he's successful. If you have a promised a product and it's not out yet, well then it's not a success. You haven't accomplished what you're set out to do. Create the book. So either you failed at it, like some creators do, shit happens, or life happens and they fail at it. It's not for them. They're not willing to put in the work for it. They're not willing to sacrifice the time, the personal time, essentially give up having a life in order to get the thing done. Well, then guess what? No one's going to buy from you again, and you're out of the business. This is not a world where you get everything that you want. You have to work for it. And he's doing it. Eric July has an audience. He's working on that audience. I know more character names in Ripperverse just from the fact of him advertising on Twitter. Like, I don't read the books, but I've read a couple of them, but I don't read anymore because I'm just not interested. And I know more character names than I know of both CG characters. Hell, I don't even know who all the CG character creators are. Like you mentioned that Reyes whole thing with the late book. I have no idea who that is.
The only stuff I really know, I mean, even from Graham Nolan, I know he does like Monster Hunters, but I don't know the characters in those books either. I know like Cyberfrog, Heather Swain, Salam. I know EVS's stuff. I know like Godlike, but I don't know what the characters in Godlike. I don't know characters in Graveyard Shift. I know Inglorious Rex is Shane's book, but I don't really know what's inside of Shane's book. It's like, because Shane Davis eats EVS's ass out so good. He likes him. He's a good little boy for EVS. Shane Davis is a fucking working punk
And
bitch.
I'll say this right now too. Even though EVS is massively late, and I question him even if he's even going to fulfill Rainbow Brood, that doesn't take away. Yeah, that doesn't take away that he's a good artist. It doesn't take away the talent of any of these guys. But as a business person, you suck. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I suck at business, and I can tell you right now, you guys suck at it too because you're not fulfilling your product. You're not getting it out to people.
That's why EVS did the things he did. It was just jealousy. Eric July was outdoing him in what he
he lives off of trash cash and selling art on eBay. He doesn't live off of comic books right now because he's not making any of them. He had his Kickstarters, or Indiegogos. They're massively late, and he's, aside from that book that he's writing, the manga book, which it will probably have to be put out on crowdfunding under someone else's crowdfund because he can't do it himself on there unless he's going to bring it over to Fund My Comic. But he's living off of trash cast. He's living off of super chats. He's living off of being able to sell a page of artwork on eBay for, I don't know, probably $3,000 or $4,000 since it's an EVS thing. I don't know how comic book art's doing right now, but that's the stuff he's living off of. And it's like, hey, you have a full-time job just like the rest of us, except your full-time job is shitting on people for 5 hours.
These artists are so fucking that Rob guy. He thought it was so beneath him to work a job. They're that delusional.
You have that narrative, and you see it on Twitter and stuff. It's that if you have to work a day job, then you're not a real artist. You're not a real comic creator. Yeah. You're a hobbyist, and it's like there's that whole mentality where it's like until you live off of it, then you're not genuine. You're just a hobbyist. This is just a thing for you. And I used to get mad when I heard that because of the amount of work I put in. Mm-hmm. But now I just realize it's like, no, that's just your opinion. I put in more hours of my week into creating comics than I do working a day job. I constantly try to improve. I sacrifice a lot of shit to get my stuff out. So I consider myself a comic creator and a professional. This is more than just a hobby for me. This is a life for me, and I'm trying to learn how to make it to where it's the only thing I do. And if I have to work a full-time job until I get there, I'm not going to care if somebody whose opinion I don't give a shit, or, if someone random person on Twitter is like, hey, you're not really a real comic artist, or you're just a lame hobbyist because you have to work a day job. No, fuck off. I spend 50, 60 hours a week doing this shit. I don't get any sleep. I stay up to 2 a.m. drawing these characters, learning how to get better, studying art.
Videos like this that can go for like 30, 40
I go
minutes.
on MSK streams for 5 hours talking about all sorts of stuff. I mean, I consider myself a creator, and I consider
myself. I think in the indie comic space, people should do what Richard Embry did recently, was just move away from labels. I think that label stuff is gay. First of all,
stay away from that shit.
Everyone's in one big group that is indie comic books in general. Yeah. Having like a cool kids club doesn't make any sense when you're all just essentially, in theory, nobodies that people don't know. You're like underground rappers. You're supposed to be like, I hate the sense of the word community, because I do find that word very cringe. But the thing that people have to understand is, like, being a part of CG, I mean, does it help you? Maybe. Sell your soul to get that money, though? Is that all you care about? I don't know. That's up to you. I don't know what you want to do. All I know is this: putting a label behind yourself is stupid.
Well, it's dumb. I've been part of group chats. I've been part of little clubs where we have a little name and we go around saying and stuff. I've done all that, and I'll tell you right now, at the end of the day, the only person that cares about your work is you. There is no community, and even the groups that say they are a community are just drawing off of each other or leeching off of each other, and at the end of the day will drop you like a bad habit, as John's Longbox learned, and Richard Embry learned, that as soon as you go in a different way than what the cult or the tribe wants, then you're out, and then they start dogpiling you. Concentrate on your own shit, get your own audience, and if no one's looking at your stuff, figure out why and try to make it better, and just work on your own shit, because at the end of the day, none of these guys are going to care if you just disappear. No, if I tomorrow stop creating comic books, none of the comic creators, very few, except for the ones I call my friend. I have a few friends in it. Aside from that, though, no one's going to give a shit. No one's going to be on Facebook like, oh no more Sig and Joe. No one's going to care. So at the end of the day, just work on your stuff, get better, and build your audience. Find people that want to read your book. Find people that want to look at your art, because they are out there. There are people who are going to like what you're doing and keep working at it, and just keep working to get better and keep trying to learn what you need to do. Stay away from all the groups, because the only thing the groups are going to do is just going to use you as an attack dog, as a supporter, as a funding. They're just going to use you for money. They're going to use you for your time, and they're not going to give a shit about you when you fail or when you don't do good. They're not going to lift you up. It's all bullshit. And I might be a little burnt by it, but at the same time, I've had enough of it. Like, I'm a solo act, and that's the way I'm going to be. And if I succeed or fail, it'll be on my own shit. It'll be on no one else's fault or no one else's help.
Because I know earlier, in the video, it was supposed to be about Rob, and it mostly was, but then the little caveat before in the video is the whole, like, Master Racers cars that Ethan is selling on Fund My Comic. There was a comment here under the Fund My Comic Twitter account that had it. I think it was under John's Longbox post, and this is the exact reason why people think crowdfunding is a joke. Just this comment right here. And I know this is terms and service if you read it, but this is what customers don't want to read, don't care about that shit. First of all, because they won't give you money. If everyone highly kept saying, hey, this product may not come to fruition, you're not going to get any backers. No one, I don't know why people even use this as an argument. What's it supposed to mean? It's like, well, if you invest in something, it may not come true. I don't want to hear that. I'm not doing it then. What? So this person had said this. Accountable. So basically, like, John had put up, Fund My Comic is between a rock and a hard place. If he lets EVS in, he's hosting bad actors, use a platform, all that stuff. But this is the main comment that I wanted to go over, which is accountable for what? Contributors are supporting an idea, project, or cause they care about. Contributors accept the risk that the campaign may experience delays, changes, and unforeseen challenges, or might not come to fruition. This is standard crowdfunding. That's cool. Then what if I choose to not back any of you then? If that's cool. That's awesome that those are rules. What if I just never back any person ever? I don't want to throw money at something that may not ever happen. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's not something I really want to do.
Robert is correct, I guess, in theory. But here's the thing is that if you try to sell me a book, I buy the book, you don't fulfill, I don't buy the next book. And that's just it. Then out of you have 1,000 backers, next time around you have 700. Oh man. Oh.
The dildo or from shit, my stomach hurts. Oh shit.
Oh my goodness.
ComicsGate.
You're gonna get your stream taken down.
ComicsGate, grab a whore and an or. The dildo or from your foot sack. Oh, shit.
Oh, hey, you got Mike wanting you to read his comments over there.
Read these comments. You want the ones in yours right here? Oh, you want this one? Do you want these read? Yeah, sure. Okay. Renown Zero says, I reported about this yesterday. Personally, it's going to make your platform look terrible because the man has multiple late campaigns, including one that is 5 years late. I'm sure he'll just end up using your site as a storefront, and then when people don't receive the product in a timely manner, it'll damage your brand. But keep in mind here, Fun My Comic is in a weird spot because it is in a rock and a hard place. If someone were to pull like, hey, you can't be here, yeah, technically their platform's not allowed to do that because that is considered discrimination to a certain degree. You actually can't do that. They have a thing like Luke Stone has basically mentioned. You have to essentially, they'll allow anyone to be there. That's it. You can be anyone to be there. That's just
it good for him where he's like, okay, fine, you get your shot. But the thing is, though, is if he doesn't fulfill, is he going to get a second campaign on there? And if he doesn't, then is Fun My Comic Book ready to get the ComicsGate wrath? So it's like if he's out there saying, like, if he tells Ethan, okay, no, you can't do your manga book on here because you haven't fulfilled the cars, and then EVS starts doing trash casts about how CG shouldn't use Fun My Comic and they're blah 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 blah. Well, then, yeah, he's going to have to face all that. And I think most of his customer base now is ComicsGate, isn't it? Like, I don't know. This looks like it could turn out bad.
Right. It might be probably a bunch of Dick Masterson audience because he wanted those people so bad. Because criticism or whatever nonsense that was back in the day. Nothing against Fun My Comic, but fuck creepy van driver and his Ponzi schemes.
Yeah.
Try delivering an actual book first. And but you have people that say, but he delivered other books before. That's cool. Good Lord, you people.
When was the last book he delivered? Was it Cyberfrog 2? Or
technically, it's the Dark Harvest one that just came out, but that one was also years late too.
He did deliver that. So he hasn't delivered some of the
delivered.
Oh, they're currently being delivered. He hasn't delivered the sketches yet.
The whole thing.
And he talks about he doesn't
no. So Cyberfrog 2 is still, I guess, but what the comments say, still needing to be fulfilled. Then there's this other one that just came out that was the preview book for Red Extermination, the Dark Harvest book. That one's 2 years late. That one is currently being fulfilled. And then there's Hellfant. Then there's Fearsome. Then there's Rainbow the Brute. Cyberfrog 3. Then he's launching this. Then he's launching that weird manga-looking book.
Okay, yeah.
That's a lot of campaigns. It's funny, that's a lot of shit.
Well, he did say in a post, I think it was, I saw someone screenshot it. He mentioned that he's going to have late campaigns his entire career up until he retires. And he, up to I think he said something. I want to say it was up to 7 late campaigns. He was he did this whole post where he's just like, oh yeah, hey.
I think I should find it before you go because I don't.
You know what I'm talking about, then? Yeah.
Yeah, because it's actually very important because that post, he basically said I got tired of doing them because someone criticized me.
Yeah, he said one of them got reviewed, and then he got tired of doing them, so he just stopped for
Yeah,
now, and he'll
what
do them
what an
later.
insane thing for someone to apparently be a businessman to say, you know, I was gonna give you your shit, but I got tired and I kind of just didn't want to do it anymore.
Now, I will say this though,
The absolute insanity, the insanity of
to the
that.
people who buy his products, it's like it reminds me a lot of like 2K basketball playing fans that play the 2K games, the NBA 2Ks. Like
Mhm.
every year they come out garbage, but every year they give more and more money, and then they bitch about how bad the game is. It's like it's some certain point. It's like if you back EVS now and he's late, like if he's late on these race cars, then you have no
Found it.
reason to bitch. I don't want to hear you bitch anymore. I really don't, because it's like he's been massively late. You should know better.
This is the one where you're talking about. So it says
Yeah.
Tito Spencer's also a fucking loser himself. Um, I don't care whatever reason people want to use for why their campaigns fund the way they do. My criticism of you, because Tito Spencer's also a throat goat Van Skyver fan. Fucking, wait, this guy is such a piece of shit too. I don't care about late campaigns unless there's an egregious reason for them being late. There's no excuse you can give for there to still be unfulfilled sketches from Wreck Planet. Everything else is just some cope response. He just said right here, I got tired of doing them. Automatically, I don't need to know anything else he's going to say. That's just, oh my God.
That's brutally honest.
That's brutally honest in a way where he basically. So he got so mad at Eric July for
Oh.
criticizing crowdfunding, but being in, so isn't he not hurting crowdfunding where he
Well,
basically says, you gave me money for something and I don't want to do it anymore because I got tired of them, because this is the next part where it really nails the point in. I kept putting more time and energy into them. Yeah, God forbid you have to put in time and energy to the thing that you promised to give people, you fat dumb fuck. Then they warranted, and then some dickhead, just some, so maybe like 2 people, decided to ridicule one of them on a live stream. I decided I needed to take a break from them and re-motivate by writing and drawing comics. So a couple of people said, my brain, I actually just, oh my God. So that means people gave this guy money and he basically went, just because someone criticized me, I'm just not going to do them. I just got tired. You know what? I just got tired of driving my car and I just like drove with my feet.
that's like going into a restaurant and being like, I want a cheeseburger, and the cook going, you're like, you know what? I'm just tired of making these. And the last cheeseburger I made, someone said tasted like shit. So I'm not going to make yours until I feel
Yeah.
like
You
it.
know
I'm going to
what?
go golfing, and then I'll come
It's like,
back and make yours later.
it's like going to a restaurant and the cook being like, you know what? You didn't like my burger after eating it. And I actually just wanted to say to you, I actually peed and shit inside of your burger and cummed on it. So I'm gonna not work here anymore.
Oh,
What?
it's just
I've never I guys, my brain. I've wrecked my brain too hard tonight. People gave him money for this, and he said, "I just got tired of doing them." No, that's not how that works. You don't just get to. What? What? You just don't get to stop because someone made little mean comments to you. Oh, we have to save the fifis of creepy van driver. No, you need to get them done. You know, it's crazy, EVS. If you just get them done, doesn't matter, right? Oh, it does matter. They were late as hell, but just get them done. Apparently, he was more than halfway done, but he got someone criticized him. But what happened to you? Were the Eric July thing he was arguing with him about? Was just take criticism, just accept criticism. It doesn't matter where it's from. He stopped fulfilling something that someone gave him money for because someone else just made.
Oh no, you mean
Oh
EVS is a
no!
hypocrite? Like,
Oh no!
yeah, it's yeah.
Holy crap! He was like, "Oh, but my campaigns are always gonna be late." That's not. Thank you for confirming what we all said.
Well, at this point, he's being upfront, and if as his dwindling fan base keeps giving him money, eventually it won't be enough money to keep him going, or he'll run out of places to run campaigns at, because like if he doesn't, let's say he does a car one and does the manga book, and then both of them don't fulfill for a long time, and then he can't go on Fund My Comic
I'll
anymore.
just say this:
Does he go back to Kickstarter, or does he just?
let's say you were a dad, and one day your newborn is crying a lot. Should you just go, I got tired of raising the newborn. I wanted to leave him.
On the doorsteps of a church.
Someone criticized my dad skills. I'm just going to not be a dad today.
You go with the brutal analogies. I'm like talking cheeseburgers, and you're like, imagine abandoning a child.
I just can't do it. Yeah. T-Soul Spencer and Stray Beans have Air July syndrome to the fucking core. It's just it's insane. I can't believe what I just read there. I just stopped doing them because someone criticized me. Dude, someone left a massive bad comment on the Fund My Con page. Yeah, send it to me before the video's over because I do have to wrap the video up and then we have to end the show and then I got to go to bed. I got stuff I got to do. I did get my house chores done, so I am all good to go. But no, it's just like, I've been wanting to do this kind of thing for so long. Not consistent videos like this, but I just wanted to just have video where I just laid it all out because it's so irritating with people. And even when T-Soul Spencer, that piece of shit, saying, well, I don't mind if campaigns are late. You're part of the problem. You saying things like that enable behavior like that. Just pointing out, if you send things like that, when you speak about those things, saying I'm cool with late campaigns, you're the one. You would hurt crowdfunding with that. What in the world? Yeah. What the fuck? You sent it to me on Facebook or something? Or you sent it on Twitter? Or you said you're sending it now? Jesus Christ. Sent. Okay.
Sent.
I mean, jeez, this is the font on this is so low. The font on this is so small, Mike. Jesus Christ. It's okay. It's fine. Oh, if I can go with the whole that's so low. I would have to.
Oh Jesus!
I would have to turn to my other screen to read this. I don't even know if I can make. That doesn't help. That doesn't help at all. Yeah, the link would be so much better because that's too small. I'm not saying I won't read it, but that's just so.
Yeah, we're gonna be here for another hour.
That's microscopic. Holy shit, Mike! Jesus Christ, dude. You're fine. I found it. That font size is -50. This is technically not that much better, but that one's not your fault. This one is my fault. I'll just make it bigger the way my wife likes it. Okay, I can read. You guys can't read this, but I can. It's better to look at it on the screen. -50 still. Let me see if I can make it bigger on the website really quickly. Okay.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
That's better. That's better. Okay, I understand. Cookies. I like chocolate chip. Fucking hell. All right.
Chocolate chip are good.
Man, good Lord. I love when I can eat out my wife, but just good Lord. For anyone who is considering contributing to Creepy Van Driver campaign or contributors wondering when in the holy hell their stuff is ever going to ship, a lot of us are still waiting for Ethan to send us our Cyberfrog 2 honeycomb boxes from contributions we made several years ago. I personally made a contribution of $275 plus $20 for shipping on that campaign and also contributed hundreds of dollars to other EVS campaigns years ago, including Rainbow the Brute, which is still not completed after all these years. Stop. You guys are going to make me... I'm going to break one of these days. The Cyberfrog 2 campaign started fulfilling over 2 years ago, and those of us who still haven't received our honeycomb boxes can't get an answer from Ethan or anyone at All Caps Comics regarding when we will receive our stuff. Repeated emails on this matter for over a year from those of us who are still waiting go ignored by Ethan / anyone at all shit comics every time. Ethan won't respond to comments on the topic on his campaigns. He has responded to a couple of super chats that I'm aware of on the subject while live streaming, saying he has a couple remaining head sketches to do and saying that each time that he'll get them done this week. So as to deceive the audience into thinking that he is actually resolving what is at worst a small issue. In reality, there are a lot of us still waiting, and the evidence indicates that he has no intention of fulfilling the remaining orders and intends to steal our money, since he also refuses to issue refunds for these unfulfilled orders. And he also just admitted today he got tired of doing them. So, that pretty much signifies that. So, oh my God, there's more. Jesus.
Good Lord.
Good Lord, man. Literally wrote an essay. Anyone who cared at all about their customers would be sincerely apologizing for the delay, leaping into action, and making fulfilling these remaining orders from years ago a priority, especially considering that the apparent holdup is that he isn't bothering to do the head sketches that we paid extra money for. Ethan has spent endless hours live streaming instead of fulfilling his responsibilities to his paying customers, not to mention concert. Yep, the licking urinal thing. Oh my God. This motherfucker licked a urinal. Straight up crack inducing. Not to mention concerts, outing to gamble, vacations, and all on the money that we have given him while we remain empty-handed after years of patiently waiting. Ethan talked for years about the supreme importance of valuing, respecting, and taking care of one's customers. However, what Ethan has demonstrated in practice is that he has no problem stealing from customers, lying to customers, stonewalling customers, and treating his customers with unwarranted contempt. I'm guessing that he's thinking he can continue to screw over countless paying supporters because he can rely on continuously duping new suckers into forking over their money. They find him through one of the nearly daily super hour-long live streams, not to mention his participation in other people's live streams, and hear his stories about being a victim and a truthful guy coupled with his sales pitches. This is insane. This Well, I get the point. I fully get the point. I do agree. Everything you said, I agree with. Goodness gracious. Goodness, actual God.
Well, hey,
so yeah, to wrap up this video, what are your closing thoughts on all this? Indie comic books, people. Just want to circle it all back.
Oh man, what a mess. Yeah,
just don't involve yourself with ComicsGate if you're an upcoming indie comic creator. You could just put in the work and get backers a different way. You don't have to sell your soul to that trash.
Do it on your own. Build your audience up. Learn whatever skills you're lacking in, and just get better and stay away from these kind of schemes where essentially if you join something like a ComicsGate, you're now in a bubble and you're only going to be feeding off of whatever's in that ComicsGate bubble. There's rarely, you're not going to see much cross around. And yeah, it's just the whole thing. You just stay away from groups, kids. Be yourself, make your book, and don't feel bad if you can't live off it right away, because that takes years of work and time.
Also, here's the kicker. You're not going to live off of it. You would literally have to be in the top 5% to do that. And if you ever get to that point, I'm proud of you. That's awesome. But that is not the reality for the average person doing this. It's just not. It's not even the reality for literal legends you guys consider in the scene. People you guys consider like some of the best ever can't do this full time.
And if you do live off of it, it's going to take you a while. It's going to take you years to get good enough and build an audience enough and grow enough to make enough to survive, to live off of comfortably. It's going to take you years to do it. You're not going to come out the gate with your first book and just knock out a $1 million deal and then bam. Even Eric July, even though it can be argued, his first book did really good, but that was because he built an audience for years and years on YouTube, and he had that audience up and he monetized it. That's exactly how he got there. He built up an audience and he monetized it. It takes time to do that.
Yeah, so he's been on YouTube since like 2007, 2008.
Yeah. There's no shortcuts. There's no secret formula.
Yeah,
there's no boys club.
Loser. Remember that one loser who was saying, "Oh, well, I have to work hard." Yeah, as a man, you not just even in comic books. As a man, you're going to work hard every day. Here's the reality of being a man. You're going to work every day. It's going to be no thanks. Women are going to basically ignore your literal existence because there's more successful guys than you out there. You figure out how the game works, and then you make it happen. Yeah, being a man is hard, but who cares? No one wants to hear your fucking sob story. Yeah, you just fucking do it.
There's no secret code. No one's going to be able to push
unless
you through
you're me,
it.
A top G Riz master. Unless
unless you're just naturally gifted, charming,
Thank you. Charming, rich, successful.
I told you I was going to be nice to you every once in a while. So.
But yeah, my final closing thoughts on this. I know this video's going to get a lot of traction. If you guys are going to watch all the way to the end, I know you are. I'll just say this. Rob Hunch is a piece of shit. He's not a good guy. Neither was Jimmy Reyes. He found, I don't care. God's not even real. You guys, God's real, right? Why are kids getting raped then? Why is human trafficking going on in the world? God's real, right? I rest my case, obviously. I don't believe in space genies. I don't. It's just not a thing I believe in. If someone scams you out of $30,000, they are not a good person.
And don't give them any more money.
Yeah, stop doing that. Yeah, please. Give money to the smaller. I'm not even saying they're owed your support or deserve your support. I'm just saying it's a better investment of your money to give it to the smaller people like your Mugen Lords of the world, your Von Colemans, your Lunchbox Warrens, all those people, because they're going to deliver your book and they'll gladly appreciate your money and they do treat you very well.
Two issues.
I'm not saying they're owed your support. I'm not saying that. No one's owed anything in life, but I'm just saying it right now to reiterate this point. It's a much more better investment of your money to give it to people that have a proven track record of giving you your shit on time too, with less money. So they're actually doing better with less money given to them than people that got thousands and thousands of dollars. I think that's pretty fucking good in my opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's my thoughts on all this currently, because that's been a fucking doozy. It's wild, but I'm going to bang my wife out later on tonight, so I'm good. So thank you guys for checking out this video. If you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, and we're going to sign out, guys. See you guys later. Goodbye. Peace. All right, before we go, I don't know what to say. My brain is fried. Literally, it's on a skillet fucking flipping or something. However you make ground beef. Good Lord. However you flip a burger on a grill. Whatever you do.
So what's your schedule for the next couple days? What do you got going on, MSK?
Tomorrow, I'm having a one-on-one with Michael Bancroft. The Michael Bancroft, yeah.
Wow.
So, and then I have John's Long Box Sunday. Then
moving on up.
After that, Monday restarts. Everything just goes back to normal. That's pretty much it, honestly. I have another set of people set for next week. Last Comic Fan is, still, he popped in the stream tonight. I hope he's doing good. He's been going through some health problems, but I hope we can have a show we have on a Tuesday happen. But anything you got coming up, man, that you want to let the audience know about?
I'll be live draw streaming this Sunday at 8 o'clock. No guests. It's just going to be me working on issue 4, and I'm going to discuss on how I story and world build. So I'm going to be discussing while I draw my process of going from essentially idea to script to comic page. So I'll be talking about that while I work, and and if people come in and pop in the comments and get me talking on something else, and it'll be a fun way to organically move it. But that's the plan, is to talk about my creation process and work on issue 4 of the Adventures of Sig and Joe. And then after that, Wednesday, I'll be on the panel show with you. And then Friday, we'll be doing this again, talking about some other fun topic for a couple hours. But yeah, that's about it, guys. Check me out. If anyone wants to find me, just look up Lunchbox Warren and Facebook, Instagram. I'm most active on Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. On TikTok, I do live streams where I'll be drawing on there. I haven't done one in a bit, but I'm going to start doing more. Those are a little bit more random. And then catch me on my YouTube channel, where you look up Lunchbox Comics. You can find my YouTube, and like and subscribe. And
I actually prefer if you scam me out of my money. I'm gonna just dude, I'm cool.
Well, send me money and I just won't do anything.
So essentially EBS.
Yeah, and if you ask about it, I'm just gonna make you feel like you're being a dick.
yeah. What's crazy is they owe you a product. You're mad at them, but you're the issue because you brought it up.
You're the asshole. You don't like quality.
But as you guys know, for me, tomorrow, the MSK show, I have episodes set for Saturday, Sunday, Michael Bancroft and John's Long Box. And Monday, back doing this again with the MSK show. Hopefully I can maybe get in a League of Legends stream, because I do want to get back to playing Summoner's Rift. I got my confidence back to go back into Summoner's Rift and lane. I'm going to get completely fisted, turbo fisted actually. But yeah, You guys are awesome out there. We're at 260 episodes. Holy mother of God. Not even close to
making that way to 500 and then right on to 1,000.
We're not even close to 300 episodes yet.
And I need to get myself up into that top guest spot on IMDb, so I've got to stay.
You know what's crazy is that we're close to getting 300. Then it's going to be 500. Then it's 1,000. That gap between 500 to 1,000 is going to be. I'll be here for another 10 years.
Yeah, our hair and stuff is going to be the exact same, except it's going to be white, and we're just going to be complaining about stuff.
Oh God! So before we go, what is the updated show numbers? Because typically the reason why I don't like looking at it is because looking at it every single time doesn't really mean anything unless you have some actual significant time overlap. So I'm gonna look at it really quickly right now
because it seems to be about 20 to 30 episodes behind as it is. So yeah, but
yeah, because it's always behind for some reason. But to be fair, we do a lot of episodes all the time, so it's probably just updating actually, because it'll say the recent episode, but this is where it's still tracking right here.
Okay, yeah.
Grey Poupe is 42 episodes.
Dude, I moved up into yes. I'm coming for your role, Gray. You better stop taking vacations because I'm coming for your spot.
What's crazy is the original cast of consistent people was Society Reviews we had on Saturday. And then it was Drunken Emerald Arrow and Darnell. Those are like the first 3 super consistent people. Society only just appeared on Saturdays, honestly, and some movie review streams here and there. But yeah, good night, Mike. I'll have to have you and Mindy on at some point, whenever you guys have free time again. But yeah, these are the people that have the most appearances so far. Well, obviously I have to be here. I kind of own the place, So Gray's got 42 episodes. Lunchbox Warren is 10 episodes behind Gray. Darnell still has that. I think the average is 30. That's the highest capped average is 30. Spyfax is 30 episodes. That's crazy. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Laps is at 21. I feel like Laps has more though. It feels like he's been here way more episodes though. It's crazy at this point. But yeah, I wonder when it tells you your first episode appearance. Honestly, does it? I wonder if it does. Let me see. It's a character.
Was it 148? How to?
There's no way. There's no way. You were before that. Does it tell you how many episodes you've been on or what your first episode appearance was? Because 148 wouldn't make any sense. You were way before that. I think.
I need to update that because it's now I'm only known for the MSK show.
Damn. You can add in your own. What's crazy is you can actually come in here. I think you can come in here and add credits or whatever. I think you can. I could be wrong.
Well, I better hope so. So it's
good Lord. Let's see. What can you edit? Here, edit. And you have to sign in and create an account. All that bullshit.
Oh, never mind. I'm gonna do all that crap.
See production info. We got no production. We're doing this out of our fucking houses. No, I don't want to see Elo Hell. I'm not trying to see that crap. 32 episodes, creator, edit. Let's use Gray, for example. It should tell you the episode. Yeah, apparently this is his first episode. Yeah, he was on episode 6 the first time.
Wow.
So I guess that's right for you. You appeared in your first episode was episode 148.
148.
That's crazy. Damn, 30. So that's the benchmark you have to get to is the 30 episode average. Hell yeah. But yeah, no, I really do appreciate all the contributions people have given me for my podcast, not just Chaz and the Cloud9 podcast. Shout out to him. He's been helping out for a long time with that one, because a lot of people can only put in episodes of their podcast essentially once, maybe twice a week. We can do it a lot of days of the week, so I'm happy with that. At some point, we won't have that. I've always told people this. At one point, it won't be this way because I would like to just do 3 episodes a week and just get it all done then. But because maybe we'll get to 1,000, that'll be the thing. That'll be the episode mark. We go, okay, we did enough here. You can binge for hours on end. I'm going doing this 3 times a week.
Yeah.
I would literally do it nothing less than 3 times a week. But when we get to a certain episode number, like 1,000, that's like, okay, we've done a lot there. That's, you can take a vacation for a little bit. Then we're going to hit it hard to get 2,000. No, not happening. But you guys are awesome. Thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK Show. We'll see Lone Sparks Warren again Wednesday. So see you guys later. Have a great